me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. Without you, driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live without you.
All right, people. Hope everyone's good. Friday afternoon. Thank God for that. Got a weekend coming up. Gonna be a busy one. Got a party to go to tomorrow, so it should be interesting. Question is, will I be hanging out my ass the next day? Most probably, but that's a different story. And yesterday we dragged a win, and my God, was that a muddy win as far as I'm concerned, but a win is a win. I think just cutting it short quickly before going into it with a couple of people. I think the youth team that we had on there, the youth players, respectable. Mikey Moore, wow. I think he's one that definitely needs to start getting a bit of time. And I think we're going to have a little discussion on maybe how he should be looking at, give him a bit more game time. I think he's definitely going to be better to have on the pitch than Turbo Wiener. I mean, God. How many chances does one man need? Seriously. I mean, I'm at that point where it's almost sympathy I have for him. I mean, he should have 3 goals in 3 games now. I mean, the player is not good enough. But then being Spurs supporters, shouldn't we just be backing him? Because we are Spurs supporters and he is a Spurs player. You know, don't want to hurt his mental health or nothing or abuse him too much, like a lot of people said we did with Johnson. No, I don't care. He's shit. End of. He should not be at Spurs. I don't even think he should be playing football anymore. But again, that's another one I think I'll come into. There's obviously shitloads of questions about Archie Gray, which is obviously another one that will get brought up again. It gets brought up on a lot of other channels and that, and there is a definite split personality on this boy. But it's not that anyone, I don't think, I mean, this word that gets used so much, like on a lot of WhatsApps, on a lot of channels and stuff like that, is hate. Why does everyone hate him so much? Why has everyone got a hate against him? Now, hate is not a word I use in my vocabulary as such. unless I'm just repeating what someone else has said. Like I've said before, some will remember it. Hate is a word for me when someone has got in your head too much and you've got too much emotion for them. Nobody hates him. It's just people like me and a few others have a different opinion to it and think he just really don't look ready yet. And maybe he should be on loan. And with that, that's my opinion. But I know a lot of other people got a different opinion. My other problem is with him is I just don't think he's going to get game time in the position he needs. And also, he's about 6th or 7th choice in midfield. He's meant to be a centre mid. Because for me, his defending don't look great at all. And is he even going to get the game time he needs to progress? And then he does get a lot of pressure on him for that 40 million price tag. Like Brennan Johnson gets the pressure because he was 47 million. Is he showing that he's worth 47 million? No, not yet. But he's had 5 or 6 solid games now. And other people seem to think that I've turned into a Brendan Johnson lover. Far from it. Do I think he's a good player? Not particularly. Do I think he's any good at anything specially? No. Do I think he's a player that can take us anywhere? No, not particularly. I think he's a very average player. My opinion has not really changed on that. Maybe he's not shit. Maybe that was a bit harsh, but I think he's a very average player. The thing I personally think, and this is to make this clear to a few people, that I have got a bit of respect for him for, it's not even the fact that he scored goals, really. Obviously, that comes into it. It's more of a mental side for me, for him. Now, a lot of other people say, well, he's doing his job. And that's how I look at it. Like, when you're doing your job right, you're doing your job right. When you're doing it wrong, you get criticised for it. But these days, I mean, whether people don't like the phrase I use on it, these days in this woke little bubble community that we have in the world, where a lot of people, especially what are they called? AG or whatever, the generation G, Z, X, Y, Z, LB, whatever they are, yeah? They just grow up in this little bubble and get dropped into the world. And as soon as you say a bad word or whatever, you're bullying them, you're abusing them, and everything else. No, bollocks, mate. You're playing football. Get your act together. Do your job. And a lot of players his age, I personally think, you see melt under that sort of pressure. Because he has had a lot of pressure and a lot of criticism, a lot of fair criticism that he's been due, but also abuse that he wasn't due. No one deserves that abuse. But again, on my side, it's a dog-eat-dog world. It happens. It's part of it. You got to deal with that shit. But I'm not condoning nothing. But he's actually stood up. He said bollocks to it. And he's got on with it. He's actually doing his job. Is he worth 47 million? Is he going to take us places? I still don't think he will. But I can't help but respect the boy for the sheer fact that he's shown that he's got the mentality to say bollocks to it and get his finger out and get his act together. So just to make it clear to a few, I ain't no Brendan Johnson lover. And like I've said, I don't think he's a good player in particularly. But mentally, you've got to give the boy credit where it's due. Purely an opinion. I know others will have a different opinion to it. But I do think he deserves it. I do think he deserves a bit of credit for his mentality-wise to it. Let's see how he does against harder teams like Brighton, Villa, City, Liverpool, Chelsea. The list will go on. And let's see how Ange will progress against them teams, if he has. Because we've had now, 6 wins out of 6 games? Or is it 5 out of 5? One or the other. And again, they're wins. What have we got to complain about, really? But there is still points we need to get out on it. And people have very different opinions, obviously. So I'm going to say hello to a few, then bring a couple of guests on and put another link out there to a couple of others. Because after covering the games and chatting about a couple of people, I want to focus on the next 5 games we've got. Because this is where I think it's going to get very interesting. So, going to say hello to a couple of crowd, then bring the guests on. Thanks for coming on as usual, everyone. I know it's a weird time to do it, but right, Tom, big up Dan in the chat. Hope we're all well. Hope you're good as well, mate. Hope everything's good for you. Eugene, hi everyone. Big up. We'll see you in a minute, mate. Rob Frank, how you doing? Big up yourselves. Hope everything's cool for you, mate. And Jonas C, big up panel and everyone. Levy out, Lange out. Yep, I can agree with that one, mate. Totally. And LSPI, big up HotspurHood. Big up to you too, mate. And Liam, big up Dan. Big up you, Sheriff. You know what, mate? If you want to come on, send me a link on WhatsApp. I'll send you a link to the show, mate, because you have your opinion on things as well. And I do want to hear a couple of opinions today, because it is a very strange story, this Archie Gray one. And the reason I bring that one up again is because it's the one that seems to split the community the most. That's why I find it an interesting topic. And Rich, afternoon, everyone. Afternoon to you. And Chang, thanks for maintaining sensibility here, Mr. Daniel. And thank you for the 5 months on here, mate, being a member. It's much appreciated, mate. Hope you're having a good day as well. Spurs Danlist, big up, Dan. Hope you're good. Hope you're good as well, Dan. And Darth Hotspur, big up all you coys. Big up to you too, mate. And Eugene, again, big up everyone. We'll see you in a minute, mate. Jammy Git, big up. And big up to you too, mate. Simon, I'm not even going to try and read out the rest of what you're saying now. And Simon Hill, what a player we have in Mikey Moore. Loves to beat a man. Looks so confident with a ball at his feet. Yes, he does. But let's also remember, let's not get too high too quick. That was his first 90 minutes. And yeah, he did. He looked extremely good. No two ways about that. And Dan's saying big up to everyone on there. Big up to the Sheriff. Jonas C. Werner Crap terminate his contract leave. Yes, I agree with that as well. And Jamie Git, Werner wakes up every day in a cold sweat just as the goalkeeper runs at him. Mate, I don't know what he needs to do, but he needs to do something, and that's not be here. And Brian, I'll send you a link as well if you want, mate. And big up everyone in the chat. And my brother Dan, big up you, mate. Hope everyone's good. And Coys and Spurs saying big up to you too. Rob Wilson, big up Dan and Coys. Big up you, mate. Hope you're having a good day. And Jamie saying hello to Brian. And 3-4 all. Moore was class part yesterday. More, please. Yeah, I like the way you put that. And it's true. He was the one who definitely stood out on the pitch for me yesterday, without a doubt there. And the World Football Spurs, thank God for average player scoring in the last 5 games. We'd be fucked. Yeah, well, he has done, but he's still average for me, mate. He's still no special player. And 47 million, he's still got a lot to prove to me yet. But again, credit where credit is due at the end of the day. And come and join the Brennan Johnson revelation to HotspurHood, and wonderful place to be here. Yep, I'll send you a link in a second, mate, when I just bring the others on. And Lord Rodney Trotter, Brighton will be an interesting game for a lot of reasons. Yes, it will. I think that's going to be a harder game than Man U, if I tell the truth there, mate. And saying hi to everyone as well. Same as Brian. And Jeremy, get what you're saying here, mate. As long as he scores, I have no complaints. He did melt. And the reason he came back is because Ange put his arm around him. Yes, but he could have also totally melted with the amount of criticism as well. I mean, you can't always just blow sunshine up someone's arse. I mean, maybe people just have different opinions how the world works. Maybe some people are better managers and coaches in some ways than others. I wouldn't be a good manager or coach in putting my arm around someone and giving him a kiss on the cheek and saying, come on, you're good, you can be good. I'm more the person that would slap you around the face and say, pull your fucking finger out and get your act together. You're better than that. That would work with some people. Other people, it wouldn't. So in some ways, I might be a good coach if I ever was one. And in other ways, I would not. I just would not be. And Lord Rodney Trotter, the Driscoll brothers are looking at you, Brian. Dipstick. Dietrich, how we doing, mate? And right. So going to bring on 2 guests here at the moment and then send out a link to a couple of others to just have a brief chat about the game last night. And you two, how are we doing?
Hey, guys. Nice to meet you. Right. and Stel, the back and forth between Rodney Trotter and Binding.
I know, Eugene. I know. It's banter. I know. I'm apologizing to him right now. I got it. Thanks, though.
I don't know. Did I miss something there?
Oh no, it's okay.
I was trying to be a mod, but there was a banter going on. But I thought one person was being rude to the other, so I've sorted it out.
All right. Yeah. Hi guys, how's everyone doing?
Yeah, quite happy after at least winning 2-1 yesterday and that, mate. So, well, first one I'll come to you, Eugene, seeing as I don't think anyone's really heard your side of it. What do you think of the game yesterday?
Okay, I'll start with the lineup. When I saw it, I was in shock. But then I was happy. Shocked and happy. I don't know why being a Spurs fan now is a bit of a dilemma, you know. In one hand, you're happy, and one hand, you're like in disbelief, right? But then it is what it is. So the lineup came up. I looked at it and I saw, oh God, we've got like 4 teenagers in there, right? And how would you say, are we ready for that? Okay, but I was happy because Mikey Moore was in there, Lancashire's in there, so it's like giving the youth a chance, you know. So that's good. When the game started, I was doing a watch along, and I actually felt that we weren't clicking, we weren't cohesive, we were losing the ball. They were honest, right? And after that disallowed VAR goal, it's like we woke up, and we scored that 1 goal, right? And we maintained it. We were more or less in control, and it comes back again, right? I was having a few guests in and out, and in the end, Mr. K joined me, right? So I was saying that, you know, if they had a little bit more quality, right, they could have put in 2 or 3 goals even before we scored that first goal. But I think it's based on the quality again. So we rode through that storm, if you can call it. And then, of course, more or less into the 60th minute, we changed. We brought in more of our first teamers. Right, and I had this very weird feeling is that Horrod stayed on, and to tell the truth, I'm happy. You know, the second goal came, and it was actually created from Bergwall to Sa, and Solanke had it, you know, poked it in. So I know a lot of people say another tap in and all that, but a goal is a goal, right? We were up 2-0, and then of course they piled pressure on us. We absorbed, and we looked a bit disheveled too when the new players came in. We like, you know. Every time we change, a new batch of players come in, it looks like we are not gelling again. So I guess one thing is very true. We need to give them actual play time together. The whole squad to have actual play time together and understand what's happening. But of course, you know, like Spurs, they always like to give us, you know, something up our, you know, to make us a bit more tense and excited. We concede a goal. And to tell the truth, right, their goal was a good goal. You know, the ball came in and it was a straight first-time volley. So it is what it is. They scored a goal. In the overall, what I saw, I know there's a big debate about Archie Gray, right? Bergwall, right? Mikey Moore, big up to Mikey Moore. He put up a great, fantastic show. He actually showed what a winger was, right? Take the ball, go at your man, and, you know, put the ball back in. That's what he showed me. He shows me at 17 years old, right? This boy should be given more chances, and he should actually be playing ahead of Timo Werner on the left. That's how I feel.
Who shouldn't? And, I mean, do you think it was smart that he used 4 youth in one go?
I don't think it was smart. I think he took a risk. He took a gamble, right?
Yeah.
And it paid off. That's how I feel. And what I noticed, right, in the midfield, right, I'm not going to say disappointed with Bergwall, but he didn't show me the kind of magic that everybody was talking about. You can say maybe he doesn't have enough play time, right? He needs more time to gel the team, but he didn't show me that. But what I saw, right, it was Porro who was the one controlling the midfield, you know. And I noticed one thing: we play more on the right. Sorry, we played more on the left than on the right. Let me see. On the right, on the left than on the right. It's like we were avoiding Werner. That's one thing. Okay. The other part about Archie Gray is that I feel the boy, I know people keep saying that we've bought a center midfielder, right? I don't think so. I think Archie Gray has been brought in, right, to play at the back. You know, like yesterday I was watching your Stel show, right? You're arguing about Archie Gray this, Archie Gray that, right? and he should play as a CDM, the number 6, the blah blah blah. But no, I think Archie Gray was brought in to play at the back because we let Ashley Phillips go out on loan. So that's what I thought, right? And he can play on the left, right. Again, I think now we're going to make it right. Archie Gray is going to play right across the back line. He's played on right back before, but he's not played. He's played left centre back, right? And of course, not forgetting we've got our veteran and lovable character called Mr. Ben Davis. He'll be getting his testimonial after being 10 years at the club. Utility player, okay, fair, right? Overall, the Archie Gray thing, you guys were arguing about his price, 40 million. I was thinking, no, honestly, Archie Gray just cost us about 25 because there was a deal for Rodon going on to the other side. It's all in there.
No, hang on, Eugene.
No, hold on.
It was 40 million. It was 40 million, yeah, because even though we paid 30 for him, if you want to look at it like that, we could have kept the 30 and sold Rodon.
No, I'm not talking about the money going to be spent somewhere else. I'm talking is that because of that, right, he becomes another punt for the club. Guys, we don't invest players for football. We buy young players for money for the future to sell. That's how I see it. Okay, that's my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter, right? That is, what Ange has the last say. Now Lange comes out and says that Levy is the one actually in the end will sign off the checks. Bro, we know that, right? We've been doing shows for 3 years. We've been saying that all along. It's not like we don't know that. It's not a hidden secret. In the end, of course, Levy is the one who's going to okay it. It's not Ange is the one who's going to okay it, right? So we all know that. But of course, maybe Levy is going to give Ange a bit of a leash to go further a bit now, right? Because if he fails, right, is Ange out? Like I said, Ange is a deflection and a distraction. But in the end of the day, who is in control? It's always Levy. That's what I believe. So Archie Gray, to me, has come in not to play as a 6.
Okay, look, we'll come to him more in a minute, Eugene. Eugene, you've got.
Oh, sorry, we're going to that. Yeah. So overall, the match, I guess, I'll take. It was a good win, right? It was raining, and at least it didn't leak, right, Stel, at the stadium.
Yeah.
Stel, do you know? I went on DR Sports, right, on Tuesday, right, and I had a fight with KG because of that. He said, no, the stadium ain't leaking again. I said, I'm going to send you a video, right, of my friend in the stadium doing a video, and it was dripping all over the place.
The stewards in the video said to me, it's happened the last 2 times. So, anyway.
That place is a mess. And they reckon they're going to rebuild a new one with £1 billion. I don't think so. Seeing as prices of everything are 3 times what they were, to redo that place, that's going to cost about 3 billion easy. But either way, go on then. Still on the game overall. I know others have heard your side, but just to put it on here so we can go through it. Overall game, what did you think?
I think we've got the most flip-flop fan base in the history of football. It's astonishing. If we go to Newcastle or we go to Leicester and we play well but lose, we didn't deserve to lose. Brilliant performance. It's coming. But when we go and play absolute shit like we did last night and like we did against Coventry, but we won. A win's a win. It's like, well, hold on a minute. When we lose, you want to talk about the performance. When we win and the performance isn't good, you want to talk about the win. It's almost like you're not allowed to be balanced with what's happening at Spurs. For me, it's simple. We've got a starting 11. If they're all fit, we will give any team a run for their money. But against that top echelon, we'll probably fall short. But everyone else will probably beat. Yeah? So we're a proper top 6 team. Definitely not top 3. That's how I look at it. As soon as you change that starting 11, we're shit. We don't look good. If Van de Ven isn't in the defence, it's abysmal at the back. And the only reason we get away with it, Coventry, Karabag, Ferencváros, is because the finishing ability of these teams is awful. If Coventry had a little bit more about them, we're losing 3-4-0. If Karabag actually had a striker, we're not winning that game. It's probably a draw. Last night, if Ferencváros had a half-decent decision-maker in the final third or a finisher, we're losing last night, man. Right? We're losing. So we've got 11 players. If they start, we will probably give every team a run for their money. Definitely not in the top 3, but everyone else we've got a good chance against. As soon as you change the team, not good enough. It's simply not, and it's getting away with it. If you take Van de Ven out of the defence in any scenario, full-strength squad, half-strength squad, you take Van de Ven out of the back 4, we look absolutely shocking at the back, like amateur hour. And Ange refuses to change it. He refuses to change it when Van de Ven isn't there. And it will come back to bite us. Mark my words, it's going to bite us eventually, because Van de Ven is the only defensive player that can play in that high line and keep it tidy. Without him, I think the whole thing, it just falls off. But we did win, and we are 3rd in the Europa League group. We're on course to finish in the top 8. If we finish in the top 8, we've qualified to the next round, which is what we want. We don't want to end up in the playoffs because that's more games, more rotation, more chance of injury. We're on course to finish top 8. I think we'll get top 8 in the Europa League. I think we will get top 8, and we'll go through into the playoffs without any. We'll go into the knockout stage without any playoff games. So, at the end of the day, job done. Was I impressed? No. Great to see Mikey Moore getting minutes. I hope he starts against Timo Werner, because I'm sick of Timo Werner. He's absolute rubbish. I lost my mind when we re-signed him. There's a good reason. So anyone saying, Stel, where's the apology for Johnson? Give me your apologies for Timo, and I'll give you my apologies for Johnson. Until that happens, there's no apologies, people. Sorry. There's got to be some balance here. But look, we won, and please, Mikey Moore, start against Brighton, man. Please. I want to see Mikey Moore against Brighton. I really do. I don't want to see Timo.
He did look quality. Right, just a thing I want to bring up here from Tony. Hang on, Eugene. And Dan, mate, with all due respect, you and many others give Gray way more stick than the rest. I think the way you got to see this, mate, is we're not giving him stick. No one has said he's shit. No one has said insulted him or whatever, or even said he's going to be a bad player. I personally think give him a season or 2, he will come good. The main thing you're hearing off a lot of us, and why it's so split down the middle, and it is very 50-50, this one, is because he cost 40 million altogether. Whether it was 30 million in a player, whatever else, it still adds up to 40 million. And he's not going to get game time in the position he was bought for as a central midfield. And personal opinion, which me and a lot of others argue, and I think I can vouch for a lot of people, is really, if we had to buy him, he should have gone straight back on loan to Leeds to get more progression in his game as such. Or we should have loaned him out somewhere. Because for me personally, I just don't think he looks Premier League ready yet. He's 18. He had one good season in the Championship. And then we can't spend 40 million on that when we could have spent 40 million on a first team player. It's no personal thing or no personal dig at Gray or even his ability. I just don't think he's ready yet for the Premiership. And personally, I think we should have been doing more of an Arsenal of what they done when they spent 20 million on Saliba and then loaned him out for 2 years. And then he came back very good. That is what pretty much everyone is arguing. No one
can I ask you a question?
Go on, mate.
Can I ask you a question on this, right? So, if he's a number 6, right? If he's a DM, that's his actual position, CDM. As it stands now, we've got Benton, Bissouma, and Pape Sarr who all play in that position. So, tell me what you think on this. If Archie Gray was that good and he was ready, then why isn't he starting ahead of those players in any games in that position? And if the case is he should be because he is ready and he is better than them, then why are we questioning this manager who isn't playing him in that position ahead of those 3? So do you agree it's fair to say either you point the finger at Ange and say you are mismanaging this player by not playing him in this correct position, or do we point the finger at the club and say the kid's not ready? Send him out on loan where he can play in that position and develop, and so we can bring him back, because we're doing it with Phillips, we're doing it with Scarlett. It's not like we're shy to loan out players. We did it with Harry Kane, and he became the best striker in the world when he came back. Where are you at with that? Because I'm stuck between 2 camps.
But still, I already said,
I-
right? We didn't.
Well
buy him
answered,
for-
Dan. That's a good answer, Dan. Yeah.
Isn't it? Hang on a sec, Eugene. Hang on.
Sorry, Eugene, man. I love you, brother.
I know,
Calm down, man. I
love
just
Eugene.
think he
He's the best.
I just
He's
think
the
he
best.
should be on loan, and the fact that he had to play left back out of position yesterday and centre back, which I don't think he's going to do him no favours. I think that just shows how much lack of depth we've got in our squad. The fact that we had to do that, and again, I just don't think it's
Spence, Phillips, two defenders that aren't in the Europa Cup squad.
Yeah, I know, I agree.
The depth is
But-
there.
No, well, it's not. It's all out. It's either out on loan or it wasn't picked, wasn't it? So that just showed our lack of depth, especially in Europe.
But
There
Dan, that
should
goes
be
back to my
depth there.
question. Do you then point the finger
know.
at the manager that's created this scenario? Or do you say, well, Phillips, Spence, and Gray weren't ready for Europa, maybe? Like that's kind of, or is there a different answer to this?
Can I come in now? We keep fixating on Archie Gray being a midfielder. Archie Gray hasn't been bought in to be a midfielder. And the worst part is that because of Archie Gray's price at £40 million, right? We've brought in a player. If we send him back out on loan, right? How would that look who said it last night on your show, Stel? He is there because of the money, because of the price that we paid for him. And the worst part is that Ange doesn't actually have a plan for him in the midfield. He's been brought in to play as a defender at the moment, right? Whether he'll be moved back into the midfield next season when we cull a few more midfielders out there, I do not know. But guys, we have to stop fixating that Archie Gray this season is going to play for us in the midfield. He's not.
Okay,
You understand?
fair enough. Fair enough.
That's how I see it. Yeah, because then that's why the fan base is so divided at the moment, because he seems to be more of a midfielder, right? Because he's young, based on his record and all that, right? He's been playing. But now he's being brought in to play as a defensive player. That's all I see it. But this is sometimes that's why the fan base get, all confused and divided on this thing. But if you put it in that sense, right? Archie Gray is coming to play as a defender, not a midfielder. Then it'll take a lot of that part of the thinking of it. You get what I'm saying? Like Stealthy is correct. We got 7 midfielders. Why do we need one more?
Okay. No, we'll see what you're playing. And the reason I just brought it up is because I was actually going to go on to that after I asked Brian about the game, which I will come to in a second.
Right, sorry.
It's just the fact.
Well, someone asked you a question, right? You're answering the question in the chat.
Okay.
It is a big question that a lot of people are talking about, but it's also a question that a lot of people are almost scared to talk about as well because they feel they'll get grilled for it or whatever. And no, this is no such thing that Ange out as an that. I am still Ange out until I see him, which he's given me a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. He has adapted in the past couple of games. Well done. But if we're going to be totally honest here, there are 3 games that we should have obliterated. One was a good result against Brentford, and one was an extremely good result against the most battered Man United team I've ever seen. Now, when I see things get consistency and we do things against City, not necessarily a win, but a great game, and against Villa, against Chelsea, against Newcastle, against the others, then my opinion will start changing. But at the moment, so far, so good. So, Brian, how are we doing, mate?
I'm doing good, buddy. I am doing good. How are you, brother?
Yeah, okay. Bit of a muddy result, a bit scrimp and scrape, but we got the result we needed. So what do you think on the game yesterday, the pick, the team?
First of all, I am to say to Stel, I can't believe, I know you watch Your Only Fools and Horses, and you didn't see the correlation between you dipstick, you plonker with Lord Rodney Trotter, which also happened to Dan, who did exactly the same thing when I came in. It's so obvious. And 2 staunch Only Fools and Horses watchers, shame on you guys. Shame on you for not clocking the name. But Brian, fair play for doing what you did.
Honestly, mate, you know how the comments have been recently?
Yeah.
I just think I'm very sensitive to the comments. So if I see anyone potentially stirring, I just assume they're coming from something.
I have great banter with Laura.
In my face.
The plonker, he's a great bit of banter. Listen, I am going to say I've seen the game differently to you 2 or you 3. I think in the first half, first of all, he went bold. with the changes. He went very bold with the changes.
I liked him.
What I will say is this is what I'm not getting. And like I said, I do try and look at things a different way now, apart from when it comes to someone up top, is I've seen us, and I'm one of them that said, you know what, I don't care if it's boring football. Winning is winning. If someone if someone said we win the league playing the most boring football, 1-0 to the filth, I'm taking it all day long over let's play attacking whatever football. After the filth, it was, oh my God, what's going on? We've got on 5 wins from 5 games. 3 different competitions. Yes, he made big changes. And when we have big changes, if we had our settled team in, I'm sure we would have played fluid football, brilliant football like Man U, and got the result. It could have been better. We can't do that. We're all talking about we're in 4 competitions. We've got to manage the games. We've got to look at the games coming in, coming out, and squad rotation is important. And then we win the game and we do rotate to keep players fresh, and we're arguing about that or bitching and moaning as a fan base. I don't get it. Archie Gray, I think, played well. In the centre back, he didn't. He looked shaky. Fair play. Well, we've brought a guy, whether he's been brought to be eventually a midfielder or we bought him as a midfielder, he's played right across the back line in the first 2 games, which isn't his position, apart from right back. People could say, yeah, he didn't look right. I'm looking at it as, do you know what? He's an 18-year-old kid who's gaining more of an education in different positions, which when he does become our number 6, will help him see danger in other parts of the pitch. And rather than saying he's not, we've put him in positions, and I think he did well at left back. I think in the second half, he got a lot better and he grew into the game. I don't understand why he's coming in for such. No, I don't say hatred. It's not hatred. I don't understand it. I think he did in the second half. A lot of the good things we did started with him. Included, you look at that back heel thing and the run for Bissouma. He's holding up. He did a lot of good stuff in that second half, and I don't think I
And
don't.
also, go on, sorry.
Don't get me wrong. He lost the ball a couple of times. He's a fucking
Many a
18-year-old kid. But did we get punished for it? No. Does he need to wrinkle the? How's he gonna work on these mistakes? Without you got to make these mistakes to learn from them. Did those mistakes cost us? No. Are we playing him in a position that he's familiar with? No.
But hold on, Brian. This is not fair now, because when Timo Werner misses chance after chance after chance, do we say did that cost us the game? No. But yet we criticise him. But yet because Archie didn't cost us, we can't criticise what we're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I'm saying, but that's what's happening.
I'm saying that with Archie Gray, of course you can say, do you know what? He made mistakes and he did everything. That's totally part and parcel of football. But what I'm not understanding is we were all moaning that we weren't doing certain things in games. Now we've won 5 in a row, and we're now trying to fight. It's just literally, I don't understand what's going. I'm failing to understand. I think Archie Gray played well. Some people may say he didn't, and that part everyone can say it, but it's literally
he had an okay game.
He's being played out of position. Timo Werner is not.
But okay, so right, 2 things. Do you think Spurs played well yesterday? If the answer's no, then why not? And I think it comes down to the players on the pitch and the tactics. So manager and players.
I don't think we played badly.
Brian, we were under the cosh against this Farmers League team for quite a considerable period in that game. Right? That was nowhere near what we've seen us play like when the full 11 are out there.
So weren't the full 11?
That's my point. So the players that were on the pitch didn't play as well. Why? Because they're not as good.
They're not as good still. They're not as good. Otherwise, they'd be in the first team.
And that's my point, Ian. So therefore, if they're not as good, are we not allowed to question that or not?
No, of course you.
We understand. Hang on a sec.
You don't understand where the Archie Gray thing comes from. That's where it comes from. It's the fact
that for example, when you said Timo Werner is a seasoned professional.
Correct.
Who's won Champions League, represented
years
the
old.
country, gone to major tournaments, playing in his position. In his position.
Yeah, but
Archie Gray is coming
Yeah.
in. Listen, like I said, people, I totally understand. Some people may say people are focusing more on the bad things he did, as in losing possession.
No, it's not that. It's the fact that we spent.
Remember, I'm not talking you.
Brian,
I'm not
I
talking
know.
you.
Brian.
It's the fact that we spent a lot of money on this player instead of signing a ready-made, oven-ready player that, like the way Van der Ven came in and just hit the ground running, the way Madison came in, hit the ground running. Instead of doing that, we've signed a player that needs time, be patient, takes time, but at the same time, our manager has said he wants to challenge for the league this year. I want to win trophies this year. Well, if that's the case, you've chosen not to sign oven-ready players. You've chosen to take a lot of youngsters in. I expect these youngsters to show us more because that's the decision you made as the manager. And if I don't see that, that's where we begin to question. I'm not questioning Archie Gray. I think, Brian, I agree with you. He's way too young. I'm not slagging him off. My questioning is he ready to be at Spurs right now and be playing as a number 6 or playing for Tottenham in the first team? That's the question, because based on the performances I'm seeing, I don't think he is.
Exactly. So just a point I'll make out here to Terry White. So we're transitioning hate from Johnson to Gray now. Shit is disgraceful. Well, if you would have listened to what I said earlier.
How thick are people? Did they go to school? Do they know what the word means?
Still, hang on. Calm down a sec. I know it's frustrating.
But if we're being labelled as haters, then I'm going to call it out then, because it's not.
That's just words people use, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Those words are literate. They're not using it in the right context.
That's not a word I use, yeah? No one is transitioning hate from Johnson to Gray. I was questioning this stuff from day one. Should we be basically buying a player for 40 million that is quite possibly not? Hang on a second. Someone's just going a bit crazy there.
I'm guessing it's Ian's. I'm guessing it's Ian's.
That's why I just muted it. And that is the thing. No one is transitioning hate. I'm still questioning Johnson, but I'm also giving him credit because he's manned up to himself at the moment. I just need to see a bit more consistency and him turn up against big teams. No one has said Archie Gray is shit. No one has said he is not going to be a good player. No one has said anything bad about him as a person. As all people are questioning, this is why I brought it up again, because it is a good topic where you'll see on the side a lot of people have opinions, is should he be on loan? Or is he going to progress at Spurs when he's being played out of position, the poor fella, and gets lack of time in his main position that we've basically bought him for, because a lot of people said he was a DM. This is the question. There's no hate in it. Hate is not a word I use in my dictionary. Like I said earlier, I just read it out when people say it. So saying that it's disgraceful and that. So I am not allowed to question on whether I think a player is ready or not. If I turn around and say he's incapable and he's shit, now I'm being harsh. But nobody has said that. People are questioning, should he be on loan like Arsenal did with Saliba? That is why it gets mentioned. That is why it's a bit I want to talk about for 20 minutes before I go on to the other stuff. And it's why people are very split. That is why it is a thing to bring up, because nobody seems to have a full agreement on it. Yes, his game last night was all right. He had bad points. He had good points. Did he look out of position? Yes, he did. Is Ange going to use him? Is he going to give him the amount of time he needs to adapt? Time will tell. But there's no hate on this. So stop exaggerating it and listen to what people are actually saying. People are asking, is he ready yet, or should he be on loan? Anyway, go on with what you were saying.
I don't think he should be on loan. Go on, Ian. You're on mute still. You're on mute.
There you go. You're not anymore.
Your dog was
I think for me, a lot of what Dan said about will he get time is spot on. He's got to have time. I'd be bringing him on. I'd be bringing him on for 15, 20 minutes into Premier League games, start him in a Europa, but play him in his proper position. You can't judge a player if he's out of position. He was bought because of his ability as a central midfield player. Now, the fee has nothing to do with him. That's nothing to do with him. And I think as fans who know the business model of ENIC and how they behave, I think we should all take a view on that and say, do you know what? But might be out of, maybe it was out of, what's the word? Out of character to go and spend an overall package of 40 million. I mean, Levy, I heard, valued Rodon at 15. So it was Rodon at 15 plus 25. So, you know, we didn't pay 40 million straight off with no player going as well. It was 25 plus Rodon. But that's not Archie Gray's fault. No. You know, the market dictates a certain price for certain players. I mean, Jesus,
and it's crazy.
I know it's crazy. I mean, Arsenal paid 72 million for Pepe because, you know, they wanted him. The French club wanted that money. Liverpool paid 85 for Anthony. I mean, ridiculous. Just ridiculous. Yeah. Harry Maguire worth 80 million? Do me a favor.
Man United win trophies, though, Ian. We don't.
They do. But with Archie Gray, let's see him play in his proper position. Then I think we can judge. Yeah. Is he up to it? Does he need an extra year's loan? You know, a loan away, even if it's from January. But if you don't play him where you've bought him for, then how do you know? It's, for me, Ange is strange. You know, he plays Spence on the left. Spence is a right-sided player. You know, he's finally learnt that if he plays Porro wide, Johnson, who is not a right winger, can play further inside. He played Kulu right wing when Kulu is a central midfield player. So there are so many situations where Ange is playing players. He's trying to fix, you know, it was like Southgate wanted to shoehorn Foden into the England team for the Euros, just, you know, last summer. So he sticks him out on the left instead of playing him where Pep plays him. So there are so many situations where, to me, Ange doesn't cover himself in glory. He's made a few changes. They have helped the team. Maddison is getting more space, and you're seeing the benefits. Kulu is brought into the middle. Terrific. Playing the fullbacks wider, depending on what side of the pitch it's on. But in terms of Gray, I don't understand. He obviously looks on him as a versatile player. And I think he thinks that because we are short at the back, squad-wise, particularly for Europe, you know, there's no Reguilon, there's no Spence. Dragusin yesterday was suspended. So he doesn't leave him with much. So that's why he's pushed Gray back.
Ian, these are excuses, man. These are excuses.
Mate, but still, hang on a second. No, they're not excuses. They're reasons.
They are, because we've got Spence and we've got Phillips. We are not short at the back. We are not. The manager has chosen deliberately to not include those players. So for him to do that, he believes that Archie Gray is better than them. Otherwise, they would have been in the squad. So if Archie Gray is better than them, Archie Gray has to show us that, but he's not. So we're making excuses to justify what's going on.
Play him in his proper position still.
Why hasn't Ange played him in his proper position then, Ian?
I don't know. You have to ask Ange that. It's a strange one for me. I don't know.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you because we've got our opinions and views as fans.
Okay.
In your opinion, why is Ange not playing this brilliant player in the number 6 role?
I don't know. I find it bizarre.
I think this comment.
So then you've got a criticism of the manager. Then so then you've got a criticism of the manager.
I don't understand it.
Ian, I'm agreeing with you. So in that case, but based on what you're saying to me, do you agree then that you've got to question the manager then?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's fair enough because most people, when it comes to this Archie Gray debate, refuse to question the manager.
Still, I think you've also got to remember what I was just trying to say. The reason Archie Gray has played left back and left centre back yesterday was Destiny stayed at home, Augustin suspended. He wants the rest. We all want Van der Ven to be rested and be fit for the big games.
Yeah,
no fucking choice. He couldn't play. He couldn't play Padu. In this game, we're talking against Fenerbahce.
But Ryan, there is a choice. It's called Spence and Phillips, but he chose not to have that choice.
No, still, he didn't have the choice yesterday.
But
Yeah,
still,
so let's criticise Ange for that.
Hang on.
Still, we can't do anything about
Let Brian
it.
finish.
Still, we
Let Brian
can't do.
finish.
This is the thing. We're bitching and moaning about things we cannot change. Spence cannot, regardless whether that's a mistake or not. Personally, I think it's a mistake from Ange. It is a mistake not to have.
Brian, that's what I'm getting at. Thank you.
Okay, that's a mistake. It's a mistake not to have had him. But we know now until February.
I fully agree.
Until February, Spence is out of the equation. There's nobody going. We can't go every game and say, do you know what? If only you had Spence. It's the same fucking shit. But the thing is, this game, Destiny did not travel because we want him to be fit for Brighton.
Brian, I know why he played.
No, that's what I'm saying. This thing started. We're talking about this game.
Yeah.
This game is about Fenerbahce or whatever. Fenerbahce. I knew I was close. This is the thing. Phillips out on loan. Nothing we can do about it. I agree. I think when we bought Phillips, I even put a tweet out the second we signed him saying the year is 2029 and Ashley Phillips is leading Spurs out as captain. I think he's
so why aren't enough fans then? Because Ashley Phillips and Archie Gray played centre-back pre-season, both of them. So why is this conversation not then about Ange? This has to be about Ange. But what I'm finding is, Brian, not specifically at you, but in general, fans are incapable of criticising the manager about this Gray discussion, right? For me, I fully blame Ange for this. That's my opinion. I don't blame Gray.
But we've won the game.
You don't get it. You don't get it.
Right,
we know we won the game.
Let me step
The question is Gray ready or not for this team?
I think he is.
Okay.
Well, truly.
Well, do you think he played well then?
Let me step in
fair enough. Brian, if you think
Hang
he's
on a
ready,
sec.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
the reason I bring it up is because I know
You're allowed
it's
to
a
think he's
touchy
ready.
comment. And it's just the question that everybody asks, and people seem to think it's a bloody hate thing. It's just, is he ready and is he going to get the bloody time? I just think he should be on loan, the poor fella. I feel for him because I just don't think he's going to get what he needs. And Harish, I'm going to give you one warning, mate. Put another comment on here like that and I'll just boot you out of here. That's all there is to it. And that is the reason why I brought it up. And I'm not going to go on it about the whole time because I know this one can get talked about for 5 hours on end. I thought he was okay last night and everything and that, but it just does bring up my question again of why are we getting a £40 million young player that isn't necessarily ready for Premiership football yet? And a player like him should, I believe, be on loan. But he's obviously, of course it is. I'm totally agreeing. And like I said, there's no one on here disrespecting him in the aspect. And this is how a lot of people are taking it. But it's a very touchy subject on the aspect of should he be on loan or should he actually be here?
I think
the 40 million isn't his fault. Hang on, the 40 million isn't his fault. But people are going to look at it no matter what. I think he had a respectful game yesterday. But again, I liked on the game yesterday that we did try the youth players. But it definitely also showed, would he have hacked that in a Premier League game? That's a different thing. So go on, Ian, and I'll come to you, Brian, next.
Sorry, Alec. Can I just answer that, Dan? Number one, I think it's brilliant that Ange played 4 kids in that team. When was the last time? When was the last time we had 4 kids in a competitive game?
I agree.
Never have we? We've never had the kids. That's always been our problem, that kids are not coming through the academy. You know, you had Winks and Skip, who had, you know, obviously nothing like Kane. Nobody apart from that, Ledley King. That's it. That's been it, literally. For 5 years. Sorry?
Bengenga came for a while.
Okay. So, Alex, go on, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I just want to get straight into it because, on this argument, Archie Gray, because Brian's put it really perfectly for me, just to back what he's just saying. And the point I'm making is that you're talking about Archie Gray, right? The reason why I talk about Archie Gray, because when he came in, everyone was bigging up, saying that he's over, you know, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's a generational talent. He's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this. Well, that's what the expectation was, yeah? Right, we did this with Burval, We did this with Archie Gray, and that's where we have the problem right now, because now expectations are up right now when people say he's only 18 years old. So make sense of that, and that's it. Yeah, right. We can clearly see he needs enough game time. Yeah, right. He's playing in all different positions at the moment. We don't know where he's at the moment. Yeah, I can go back and what I should have said from the beginning. The club, right, should have made clear, especially in this fan forum, right. Okay, this season we are going to try the youngsters out. This is what we're going to do. Yeah, make it clear to the fans that we're going to do that. Yeah, because then we don't get stupid arguments like we're doing right now. Yeah, right. Then we go on to then we go on to we're getting too emotional about these players at the moment, because I've seen it right now with all of you. I'm seeing it right now with everyone. I've seen it with Brendan Johnson. I saw it with you people yesterday, because you were Dan. I'm not pointing you out, but you kept on doing it yesterday. Repeat yourself every single time. I've given credit. I've given credit. I've given credit. I've given credit after 25 times. I'm not having a go at you. It's just that you were saying it.
Praise your wish, mate.
Yeah, because you were trying to convince people. I was like, Dan, I know you gave him credit, but you don't need to say it how many times to convince people. We know that already. You get what I'm saying? It's the same old thing with Gray and Bergvall. And the thing is, though,
well,
we look
Bergvall
really
was one I was going to come on to.
We are looking really stupid at the moment, yeah, because Chelsea, right, have got youngsters coming out galore, and they don't go on about their players like we're going on about our players. And again, the difference between Chelsea and Tottenham is they win. They win. And that's why I think that's why we're going on like this. We do not know about winning. What is the actual goal of what we're doing at the moment? What is the actual goal? Because all I'm hearing is that we've got this great line of youngsters here. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. So where's the actual goal here? What is the actual goal? That's what I'm trying to ask at the moment. Because at the moment, I don't know where it is at the moment.
So what I'll do to end this one, because otherwise it goes on all bloody day, yeah? But it was just a point I wanted to bring up where we did play the youth and that. So I'll ask everyone with a yes or no answer. Stel, do you think Archie Gray should be on loan, or do you think he should be part of that team playing the odd game here and there?
It's not a yes or no answer, but yes.
Look, in 10
well,
seconds.
You know what I mean. Should he be on loan? Yes or no?
Yeah. In 10 seconds, there's not one Spurs fan that disagrees that Mikey Moore isn't a good player. There's no debate. There's no argument. There's no nothing. Why? Because we can see with our own eyes what we've got there. With Archie Gray, there's a debate, and so is with Bergvall. Why? Because it's not quite right. And that's the problem at Spurs. With our youngsters, we've got to say they're all brilliant, generational, amazing, defend them at all costs. But yeah, there's a reason we have these divisions. Everyone agrees Mikey Moore needs to start playing. We can see it. With Gray, my opinion, he needs to go out on loan because he's not giving me Mikey Moore vibes, not even close. Bergvall,
I'll come to him in a minute.
Archie Gray on loan. Yeah, I'll loan him as long, Dan, as he gets regular minutes in league football, week in, week out against teams that are going to challenge him, not Farmers League teams. If he goes on loan to, I don't know, Rotherham, no, fuck that.
No, he should be on loan at something like Dortmund, or we should have left him at Leeds for a year.
Or a Championship team, or a lower level Premier League team. 100%. Yeah, I totally
Leeds
agree.
would have been perfect to leave him there for another season to get some more experience.
Just the final point.
I'm going to go round in circles.
Yeah, but I didn't even finish my point before. I didn't even finish my point before. Right, and the thing I have to say this because Brian, again, I love you, Brian. Yeah, but on the football, what you're arguing at the moment, yeah, we're saying they're having a go at us, yeah, but at the beginning of the season,
having a go at you.
No. I'm not. Brian, it's Mr. Box Office talking to you. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, come on now, get back to the game, get into the game, but you know what I mean. The point is, yeah.
Oh, so he gets away with it.
But Brian, it's the point I'm making is, yeah, at the beginning of the season, right? It was the ITKs were saying they were impressed with Bergvall and Archie Gray, and they were ready for the squad, and this was coming from the club. They were coming for the club, yeah? So I'm sorry, right? They've got no excuses because they knew exactly what we were doing this season, right? So don't put yourself out there, press PR-wise, saying Archie Gray and they are ready for the squad, because as far as I'm concerned, then I'm not treating you as 18-year-olds in then. I'm not treating you as 18-year-olds. Then I'm
You
treating
got
you
to, Alex.
as well
Sorry, mate.
performers, as main players of our squad. I'm sorry, yeah, and it's the club's fault. That is the club's fault for making that statement. I'm sorry, and the PR
Okay.
has made us still made everyone now defend them because they're saying they're young players anymore, and we don't have that. You don't have that for Chelsea. You don't have that for Manchester United. You don't have that for any other club, and that's it.
Alex.
I'm sorry, I've made my points. That's my point.
Okay,
Back to you,
right,
Dan.
hang
I'm
on.
done.
I don't give a shit.
Hang on, Ian. I'll come to you in a second. Ian. I'll come round to you. Yeah. I know it's a touchy subject. That's why I like bringing it up. Right, Eugene. Short and sweet, if you can. Should it be on loan? Yes or no?
I don't know.
Why?
Tell the truth. I don't know. I don't care anymore. Right? Just as long if something works, right, it works. If it doesn't work, right, then we'll sing songs about it, right? So, but like I said, that's it. Spurs have made me gone like you just don't know anymore, right? But in this kind of scenario, at this moment, what we have done, we have no choice. We will have to have him. I'll say I'll have to keep him at this moment. But if we had choices, right, proper people to come in, then he'll go on loan. But we don't. No, we are Spurs. We never do things properly. We don't plan properly. So it is what it is.
Okay, fair point. Right, Brian, what do you think on the subject thing? Because I say I'm going to go through a couple of the young players here. Great. Do you think he should?
That's all. I'm not going to be
stay
here
with us?
for much longer, Dan, because I've got to get ready for my fan show.
Or should he be on loan? Basically, do you think
Archie Gray, should he be on loan?
or should he be? Or should he stay
fucking
here?
not. Absolutely not. Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Reason?
Because I think there's a player there. I think he's going to get more. You got to remember, we're at the start of this season now. We're in four competitions. The season's going to drag on. We need to. We all say that we haven't had the strength in depth. Then we've got a player that can bring depth and play in multiple positions. And then we want to get rid of him. And then if we do send him on loan, it'll be, we're a left back or whatever short. Why did we loan out Archie Gray? I think you got to remember we are talking. It is October the 4th. October the 4th, and the season ends in May. And we're judging whether Archie Gray should go out on loan based on performances in the Europa League where he's been played out. Well, right back, he's played predominantly for Leeds. Absolutely not out on loan. Definitely not.
Brian, can I ask Brian one quick question on what he said, right? And I'm saying this based on what I've seen of Spence when he's come on this season, especially the second half when he came on at Old Trafford, where I thought actually Spence did quite well. If in January we had the choice to loan out Archie Gray, but the minutes that he might get instead go to Spence and Phillips, would you do that deal or not?
No.
Okay.
Only because Phillips ain't mate. Still, they're all coulda, woulda, shouldas. If you had said to me Archie Gray goes out on loan and a recognised, established, let's just say, I'm just throw a name out there. This is if you were to tell me that Archie Gray goes out on loan and Spurs getting Nketiah, then it's off you go and get your minutes, come back. It doesn't happen. At the moment, he can play in multiple positions. Whether he's playing in his correct one is anyone's decision.
Well, Spencer's played left and right back for us.
Yeah. But again, there's also talk that Spence could be off in January. So that could be another one that goes. I think Archie Gray has come in. I think as the season goes on, his minutes are going to progress. Hopefully, he will get to see him in midfield. I think that's what everyone's waiting to do, see him in midfield. Because that's where we were believed. Who
does he replace though, Brian? To get those minutes.
It's the thing. This is the quality of it. Still, look at it at the moment. Bissouma, Bentancur seem to be the first ones in that position. So we've got the luxury of them two, and then if there is an injury, if one of them's injured, and we've got a Europa League game or something, Gray's there. Gray's there.
What about Pape Sarr?
There's another one, but Gray can play 6. Sarr could go. That's the. This is the thing. How good is it now that we actually have these choices?
But we're saying
that there are hardly any choices.
But I'm trying to understand where he gets enough minutes in that position when there's already 3 players.
That's what him training and getting the minutes now in Europa League. I'm delighted.
He's not getting those minutes in that position. Though,
No,
is he?
he's in the Europa League though, isn't he? He's had 290 minutes.
No, I mean in
Okay.
the 6, in the CDM.
Oh, no, that's hopefully in the 6. We'll wait and see. He could mix it. He could do it at Man City. He could do it at home to AZ Alkmaar for all we know. But I
Okay,
think
so Brian,
do you think Ange will do that? Do you
I hope
think
so.
Ange-
you think Brian? You think we should keep him here, not loan him?
100 billion% Archie Gray should stay at Tottenham Hotspur.
Fair enough. That's your opinion at the end of the day, and everyone's entitled to it. This is just what I'm asking, because I'm actually going to get to a point after I've gone through a couple. Believe it or not. Right, Ian, do you reckon he should be here, or do you reckon we should have a player like him on loan?
I've only got 2 things to say.
Ian would make him manager.
I've only got 2 things to say. Firstly,
Say what you wish, mate.
right, based on what Alex has just said, he's obviously judging Gray because of what the club said. And I would expect Alex to look past what the club said, because the club come out with a load of crap. We know that. I'm sure Alex knows his football. So you shouldn't be, Alex, you shouldn't be judging Gray because of the way the club have spoken, the way City fans judge Rodri. Because you're doing that. You're judging Gray the same way City fans judge Rodri. How can you? Still, you mentioned about Werner, but as Brian said, he's 28, 29, played for Germany, played for Leipzig, been superb earlier in his career. Gray is starting his career properly at a proper club. And how good is it that we have an 18-year-old kid? 18, remember that, 18. We're not talking about the 1 in a million like Mikey Moore. So let's not conflate the two, okay? Because there aren't many Yamals and Hendricks and Mikey Moores and Nwari for Arsenal floating around the place. There aren't many, believe me, in the entire world, and there are millions and millions of footballers. So let's start thinking sensibly and comparing Gray correctly. He hasn't played yet in his proper position, and he's been used in 3 positions, and he's 18 years old. I mean, how good is that to have a player? And he at no time has he looked out of place the way Parrott did when everybody wanted Parrott in. Mourinho brought him in against Norwich in the Cup, and Parrott was absolutely lost. Now, I'm sure Parrott's going to have a blinder against us in a couple of weeks. I'm certainly not knocking Troy Parrott. I'm just making an example.
What, just out of
Mourinho
brought
basically Parrott in, and he was totally out of his depth. Gray is not out of his depth. You've got to keep him.
Skip and Winks were out of their depth. We don't use those examples. You've gone for the one.
No.
Try to justify what you're saying. I don't buy that.
Guys,
Yeah,
I've got to go.
we're still short.
Get ready for my
Hang on a sec. Let Brian say bye.
Everyone, I'll see you later on. Speak to you
See you,
later.
Brian.
Great weekend.
Take care, Brian.
As always, leaving out.
You'll even need to take on Alex now.
Ian, we put Winks out of his position and we ruined him. We did the same with Skip. We shoehorned them both into number 6s when neither were number 6s. Skip was good as an 8, Winks was a 10, right? And we shoehorned them in the wrong position and we ended up ruining them. If we are doing the same with Gray, mark my words, we are shoehorning him into a position that everyone claims he's not, although I've only seen him play there. Pre-season centre-back, this season wing-back, right? So either he's a defender, and if he is, he's not good at it, or he's a number 6 and he's not being given the chance, which is what we did to Skip and Winks. I am convinced he's not getting a chance at the 6 while Sarr, Bissouma and Bentancur are at the club. Because if he does, those players are going to kick up a stink. And we've got a problem in the camp because they are more experienced in that role. So I don't get where he's going to get these minutes to develop him as a 6. He's not going to get it. There's too many players ahead of him.
Still, I think it'll be gradual. I don't think you'll see him displace any of those players unless we get a run of injuries and suspensions. But
what's the point of bloody buying him then? What's the point of having him in the squad?
Because they want him as a buy for the future, Alex.
Oh,
yeah, they didn't want him going to
either way. So, Ian, you think he should be staying here, not going on loan to somewhere like Dortmund, yes, or should have stayed at Leeds for a season or whatever? Okay, fair enough. This is all I'm asking, basically.
Dan, I think we got shot of experienced midfield players, and we brought in kids to replace.
That's why I wanted Højbjerg back in my midfield.
So we can't afford.
And the kids don't play midfield.
The squad lacks depth. To me,
Can I just answer the question? Can I just answer the question, Dan?
so you can't afford to. You can't afford to send Gray out. I'm sorry.
Dan, can I just answer the question?
This is a point I'm going to get to in the end, Ian.
And you've
this
got
is
to
actually the point I'm going to get to at the
No,
end.
Dan, can I just
Right,
answer the question?
Go on, Alex.
You've got Reguilon. You've got Reguilon and Spence.
It's a quite simple answer. I wouldn't keep him. I'll put him on loan because I think it just summed it up perfectly. What Ian's just said to me, just to batter it back, is that he said, "Well, he's a young kid. He's 18 years old. We need to give him a chance." Right? Again, I go back to the statement the club said. They said they were ready. Right? Like I said before, Mr. Bot's office, the main event, doesn't do backups. He don't do backups. Yeah, if you want backups, I want Højbjerg back in my midfield right now. Yeah, I want Wheats back in my midfield right now. I'll take the Argentinian Tom Carroll, Les Celso back in my midfield right now. If we're going to be talking about backups, yeah. So, like I said, there's no point of this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, just take him on loan. We should have got someone like the guy from Celtic. I know he's injured at the moment, right? And we should have all got a Locatelli, right? And then we can work with them, and that's it for me. Sorry, that's all I need to say, and that's it. Back to you, Dan. I'm done.
Okay, fair enough. Good point. And Haz, how we doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. You? Good day.
Yeah, and like I say, I'll get back to other things in a minute. Go on then. What is your opinion on Gray? Should we have him in? Should he be here, or do you think he should be out on loan?
Well, personally, for me, I watched him at Leeds last season as well. Before anyone says anything in terms of like you haven't seen enough of him, blah blah blah.
Only saw him once against Chelsea.
Yeah, I saw him because basically I work with Leeds, someone who supports Leeds basically. So I watched about 10 games of them last season. Predominantly, he played at right back, actually not in central midfield, which is quite interesting. But for me, when I see Gray, I just think. You know, when we signed Sessegnon, everyone was like, "Oh, he's amazing," all this and that, and there were loads of Spurs fans who really thought Sessegnon was going to be the answer, But he came in, and obviously we know what happened with him. I just feel like, I don't know. When I saw him, I thought he looked all right. I didn't think it was anything special. I didn't think he was worth dropping 40 million on, if I'm being honest. If we spent, say, 15, 20, I'd be like, that's fine. But I don't hate him as a person before anyone says anything. But I just don't think like there's a player right there ready to play for the first team, number one. Like I said, just my opinion on him as a player, I haven't seen yet anything that makes me think, wow. So like I would loan him out because I think he needs the minutes. Maybe playing regular football might improve him, because at Spurs he's not going to get regular game time. And I think your idea of sending him back to Leeds on loan for this season was probably really good, Dan. I just think it was a very good choice. But I just don't think he's ready. And the problem is our managers come out and said, we're challenging for the title, blah, blah, blah. He wants to win trophies. And then he plays his youngsters. I'm going to start treating these youngsters like they're meant to be elite players then. Because if you're telling me one narrative saying we're going to, it's just, you blame Ange in then because Ange has come out and saying these things every time
you know more about football than to listen to rubbish like that. Come on. How can you compare?
Ian, let him finish his bit.
So that's the problem. So now I have to treat him as if he's like a first teamer.
You don't have to do anything.
I have to because he's come out and said we're going to challenge for the title.
Why is Ange God?
If Ange came out,
everything Ange says is like, oh my God.
So is Ange a liar then?
Let's hang off his every word.
Is Ange a liar then?
Who says he's a liar? He might get it wrong.
Not believe what he says. Is
but
Ange a liar then?
Do you not think he's used up a chunk of Levy's budget? What else is he going to say? What else is he going to say? I made a mistake spending 40 million on an 18-year-old. What do you think he's going to say?
You tell me. He tells us he wins the trophies in the second season. So I'm going to have to judge these players if they're first teamers because we need elite players to win the title and elite players to win trophies.
We're not
going to win trophies with kids. Let's be honest.
Should he be on loan or should he be here? Should a player like him be on loan?
Loan him out.
All right, Mark, how we doing, mate?
All is good, Dan. All is good. Thank you for having me on.
I think your mic's a bit loud.
Yeah. Archie Gray then.
What do you think? Do you think? I mean, he had a respectable game last night. Nothing great, nothing poor. Played out of position twice, whatever, and that. Do you think he should be on loan, or do you think he should be here at Spurs through the season? This is the question that I am basically asking everyone. Again, making it clear to the chat. There is no hate here, but it gets brought up because it is a touchy subject. And I will come to another one to make a point at the end of everything. Do you think he should be here, or do you think he should be on loan?
Firstly, it's a big chunk of change to spend on an 18-year-old, you know. And if you spend that sort of money, in my opinion, on an 18-year-old, you're not going to send him out on loan. Personally, that's my personal beliefs.
Fair point.
But like, I mean, to be honest, well, I was under the understanding he's like a midfielder. I've not even seen him play in midfield. You know, he played quite a few games for Leeds at right back, but that's
he played all of them at right back, I think.
Yeah, it was most of them, wasn't it? It was right back.
Yeah, I think it was all of them. He was right back last season. I think.
Oh, was it? I can't admit to it, like watching Leeds a great deal, but like I think that was more necessity than anything else because they had nobody else to go there. But like, I mean, he's an unknown quantity, so I don't know. You know, I mean, for me, you're not going to spend 40 million on a player and then send him out on loan. You know, I mean, that's the sort of thing you do if you spend sort of 5-10 million.
Well, Spurs aren't going to do it anyway.
No, definitely not. You know, I mean, the sort of players like when we signed Bergvall, he stayed out in Sweden for another year or half a year, whatever it was, and then we brought him in.
6 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then we brought him in. But the club's not going to spend 40 million and then send him out on loan. You know, but on the flip side of that, we haven't even seen him play really. You know, he's the odd few minutes. Well, he had 90 minutes yesterday, I think. But like, you know, he sort of gets the last 10 minutes, doesn't he, in the Premier League games? And that's
we
about
didn't
it.
even see anything against Man
Why
United,
is
did
that? Mark, why do you think that is?
Well, to be honest, he's obviously not sort of good enough to compete because you know what I mean. I'm not being disrespectful to him, you know. And before everyone says I hate him and all this stuff, you know, it's no hate but he's obviously not good enough to step up. Because
you're basically saying you don't think he's ready yet to compete against Bentancur, against Suma, against Kulusevski, against Sarr, against who else we got in midfield as well.
Yeah.
You know,
do I think he will get to that level? Absolutely. Absolutely, he'll get to that level. He's only 18.
Exactly. But
you know, but just
he was actually out on loan playing game out of game, wouldn't it? So, but do you think he should be out on loan, a player like him?
Yes, possibly. But will we do it? No, definitely not.
We hardly ever do anything. But see what I mean, everyone? It's a very split decision.
It is.
So the next one I come to then is Bergvall. I think Gray had a better game than Bergvall. I think Bergvall looked very... For me, when I have seen him play, and we can only go by what we've seen, and the reason I'm focusing on the kids here, the younger ones, is because they were the special part of the game last night in the aspect of like, wow, like there's 4 of them on. So yeah, they're the ones I'm looking at most out of this one. And Bergvall, for me, he almost looks like he tries too hard. You know, when someone's giving it that much and wants it that much that they're almost trying too hard and making mistakes with it. He's another one that I do question. Should he be on loan or should he be at the club? So, Stel, I'll come with you. What sort of game do you think Bergvall had?
Poor. I'm actually disappointed with Bergvall at the moment. And it's not a criticism. It's just I'm disappointed because I had high expectations for him. A lot of the videos we watched of him before he came to Spurs, he looked like a really tidy number 10, a player that could play wide, invert. Pre-season, his killer passes, splitting the line, 1-2 touch football. He looked like a really, really cracking player. However, pre-season friendlies, no pressure. Swedish league, nowhere near the levels of Premier League. This is the big stage now, and he's flattered to deceive so far. So where pre-season I was saying, calm down, stop this madness of generational talent, world-class hype that we were giving all of these youngsters. Let's wait and see, because the Premier League is a different animal to what any of them have experienced. We've taken players from the Championship in the past. They've come to Spurs like Dele Alli and landed and been brilliant. We've taken players from the Championship in the past like Rodon. They've come, couldn't quite cut it. Let's wait and see. With Bergvall, it might just be a case. He doesn't cut it at this level right now. He is a player that I know has got the talent because I've seen it. Look, I used to scout, and I used to scout young players. Bergvall's the kind of player I would scout and say, this is a player you want in that attacking lineup. He's got it. I can see he's got it. At what level can he perform? Is it top 4, top 6, top 10, bottom 10, Championship? I don't know. We don't know until he gets a chance. Similar to the Gray debate we've just had. What I will say, though, is this. If he doesn't get regular minutes at this level, he's going to regress. You know, Dan, you've heard me say it 100 times. Between 18 to 21 is the biggest bridge to cross in football. You're going from kid to man. It's the toughest bridge. And the most important thing when crossing that bridge is regular minutes, regular game time, week in, week out. It's the best educator of the game. You're loaded up with technique, intelligence, skill, passing ability, tactical knowledge. You've been loaded up with that since you were a kid. For your teens up to 18, you've got it. You've got the ammunition. Can you cross the bridge and fire your bullets as an adult? You need regular minutes. And what I'm seeing is maybe Bergvall isn't quite cutting it because he's not getting those regular minutes. And this is what I said pre-season. For Gray and Bergvall to play, who are you dropping? Who are you dropping, man? You're not. There's no one in this first 11 you're dropping for them. And this is the problem we've got. So I think Bergvall is probably in the same position as Gray because I do think Gray's a player. I do think there's something there.
Yeah,
he didn't catch my eye as much as Bergvall. I think Bergvall's much better. But if they're really going to progress and arrive on the big stage, they've got to get those minutes, man. And I just feel that if we keep him as well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think European football once every couple of weeks is going to cut it. I think Premier League is where they're going to really learn. Saka, he blew up because he got put into that Premier League team week in, week out. Okay, that was forced because Arteta's Arsenal were in the mud. Arteta was going to get a sack. The only choice he had left was to get rid of the starting players and throw in Smith Rowe, chuck in Saka, chuck in Reece Nelson and see what happens. And luckily for Arteta, they stepped up. So I think he's in the same position as Archie Gray, Dan. It's a lack of minutes. And I don't see who you're dropping. You're not dropping Maddison. He's in form. You're not dropping Johnson. He's scoring goals. You're not dropping Kulu. He looks like one of our best midfielders. Who are you dropping?
Still, they've been bought as squad players. They haven't been bought to replace Maddison or.
Then they're not going to develop.
No,
they're not going to
this
develop.
This is not the point I'm going to get to in the end, Ian. Yeah,
they're going to regress. They need minutes. It's that bridge to cross. You need minutes. It's key.
But who do you have in your 12 to 25? If you've got a best 11, the 12 to 25 are not going to get regular minutes. So you've
got 6 midfielders. So you don't need Bergvall. You've got 6 midfielders. So you don't need Bergvall or Gray right now. You've got 6 midfielders. And Odebert's going to come back from injury, and then Yang's coming in January. What are we doing here? You know, look, that's my opinion, Dan. That's my opinion.
No,
I'm sure.
Yeah, no,
got a different view.
I can totally understand it. No, I'm getting at these because I've got a point at the end of it. Eugene, how do you think Bergvall's game was yesterday? Do you think he had a good game yesterday?
Like
or
I
is
said
he another
earlier,
player? Do you think we should have, or is he another player you think we should have out on loan?
like I said earlier, right? I didn't watch along for the game, and I watched it that the midfield wasn't controlled by Bergvall. He didn't have much of the ball, right? I saw Porro pulling the strings more than Bergvall, so I'm not sure whether it's the lack of game time or the players are not giving him the ball, or not having confidence in him carrying the ball forward or being creative with it. But if he was like what Stel said earlier, right? In the preseason, he had that something that I saw in him too. But somehow or another, maybe lack of game time, understanding cohesion with the whole squad and team, right? It hasn't looked well for him. Yesterday I wasn't impressed with him because I didn't see much of him in the game, like Bernard, right? Didn't see much of both of them. So I guess at this moment in time, to put him out on loan or to keep him here, right? I'll be a bit off on this. I'd rather keep him here and at least give him some time to be able to have this understanding and cohesion with the players. But there's a caveat there. He must get game time. That's all. If he doesn't get game time, he doesn't develop. Who do
you drop, Eugene? Who do you drop?
Who do I drop? I don't know. Maybe in that day, we might not need to think of who to drop. Bissouma might get enough yellow cards to be suspended. Injuries might come in.
So we're going to wait for suspensions to develop a player.
Yeah, I guess we are Spurs, right? It will happen to us somewhere around the way,
Okay.
If Bissouma gets injured, in comes Bentancur, in comes Pape Sarr.
Maybe. Bentancur might get a ban. We still don't know yet.
So we need a suspension and a ban to start developing Bergvall.
That's the sad part about Spurs, right? Still, you know that, right? We don't plan for the football.
But that is what I will come to, yeah? Like I say, there is actually a point at the end of this, believe it or not. Right, and the reason I'm just going round is because it's easier than that. It's just the easiest way to do it, I find. Right, Ian, Bergvall, what do you think on his game yesterday? And do you think he's another player that we should have in the squad, or do you think he should be out on loan?
Yesterday, disappointing. Like Stel, I watched him pre-season. I thought he looked terrific. The way he has a picture of the pitch, ball comes to him, it's one touch, bang, and it's gone. He keeps moving the ball forward. I mean, you just see the way he cut Bayern Munich's defence open to put Kulu in for the second goal at White Hart Lane in the friendly.
Yeah.
He's had managers who have put him in at a very young age in Premier League football in Sweden. He's now got an international manager who has got him in the Swedish squad and gave him a few minutes in the last international. This kid is no mug. Every player has a bad game. They all do.
Yep.
Kane had bad
Every player does. Player does.
So let's not rush to. He didn't play well yesterday. I personally think he's trying too hard. I just think he's not playing his normal relaxed game because he's just looking to impress and he's trying to impress too much. If he just relaxes, but hopefully we have so many games this season that we, as Harry said in the comments just now, we have to rotate. And
yes.
And these games, we should be more than good enough with kids in the team to get through this group stage in Europe. And this is, we all said last year, we keep playing the same players. They're going to get injured. They're going to get suspended. Other players are going to come in. They're going to be rusty because we played 41 games. We don't have that excuse this year. Last year, we moaned and complained we couldn't play the kids and the fringe players because there were no cup games. Went out against Fulham. We didn't have Europe. So, we went out early against City as well. So we don't have, Ange can now bring these players in and have a look at them. And we are more than good enough, particularly, when you bring the players on like we did on 75 minutes yesterday, just to cement the game, make sure we win the game. We brought Maddison on, Kulu on, Solanke on. We are more than good enough playing these kids in these Europa games, give them experience. This is how they will develop, and in time, they will challenge for the first team spot. But let's not. The problem is because apart from Solanke, nobody else got balls. Everybody expects these kids, because we only bought 5 players. Everyone expects these kids to be challenging for first 11. They're not there yet.
Because the manager said we're going to challenge for the league and win trophies. What are we supposed to think?
Still, but he's talking rubbish.
So he's a liar. The manager's a liar.
He said it 5-6 times now. It's not just once.
But we're not allowed to criticise Ange. This is what I'm saying.
No. I'm just saying we know.
He's the first manager in my lifetime who's ever come out and said this challenge for the title, challenge for the trophies. See, it's not nonsense, yeah. And he's actually even more implying it. When they asked him about the start a few weeks ago, he was like, "Oh, well, I started badly at Celtic in this same type of period," implying that he was saying, "Yeah, I can still do it."
We
So
want our
if he
whole
came out and
case
said, "Oh, we're a work in progress. We're bringing answers because it will take time," I'd be more on board with him. But he's coming out and saying, "We're going to win trophies and all this. I'm going to hold you by your word." It's as simple as that.
It's these kids that are going to have to help us win the trophies.
What I keep him is the question. 100%. I think he is a fabulous. He will be a fabulous player, and I think he'll develop better with us. And I do think he'll get the game time.
Okay, fair enough.
Because I think we'll go deep in Europe.
Do you think he'll get the game time as a number 6 though?
Who? Bergvall.
Oh, sorry, no. Sorry.
So I was talking about Bergvall. I'm talking about.
Yeah, no. Stel's head was just elsewhere there.
Yeah.
No, for me, you keep Bergvall. I think he's a terrific player. And once he relaxes and grows into it, remember again, what is he? 18, 19? These young kids.
I think he's 18. I think he's just turned 18.
He's 18.
How's he going to relax unless he gets regular minutes week in, week out?
No. Still, you know what I mean. He's trying too hard. He's going out trying to impress, probably because he doesn't think he's going to get that many opportunities.
Exactly.
But if he relaxes and just plays his natural game, I think you'll see. I think he'll be performing better. I like him. I think he's a cracking. He will be.
You know it's like you go out, you meet a chick, you go out the next night, you meet a chick. Once you keep meeting a chick, do you know what? You're relaxed because I'm used to it. But when you don't meet a chick and you meet one once every 2 years, you're so eager to impress. You're so eager to impress that you make a mess of it. And because you're not getting those regular minutes, he's not meeting regular chicks. He's not back.
He picked us over Barcelona. Barcelona wanted him. I mean, they must.
Oh my God! And we bought Chicken Row from Barcelona. What a coup!
Okay.
Look, I agree with you, Ian. I agree. I said
it's a fair point there, Ian. It's a fair point.
Fabio did get one or two wrong, Dan. He didn't get
Galini,
them all.
Galini as well.
No, Ian,
they pulled our trousers down on Emerson, didn't they? Jesus.
I agree. I think Bergvall's a player. If there's one youngster who doesn't play well, but I'll still defend, it's him because I've seen enough to know there's a player there. Yeah. My issue is where do the minutes come from and who gets dropped? And this is the conundrum that no one can answer.
I think the word's rotated still, not dropped. Because to drop intimates that you are taking a player out because he's not good enough and you think the other player deserves the chance to cement himself as first choice.
Premier League minutes these kids need to become like talented at the level we need them to be.
Hang on. Still, they started Kane in the Europa League, didn't they?
Kane went on loan. Kane went on loan for 2 years.
He went like 3-4 loans, didn't he? He went to Millwall, Norwich.
But he started his career at third in the Europa League.
Leicester City started in the Europa, and then he
scored at Shamrock, didn't he? First game.
He's done well in Europa, and then when Soldado was fit, people were still saying bollocks, leave him out, bring Harry Kane back in. He did, and then the rest is just history, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, Ian, you're basically saying you think Bergvall had an okay game, but tried too hard. I didn't think he had an okay game. I thought he had a poor game. Okay, fair enough.
I thought of the four kids, he was the worst. I thought his performance was the worst. But I think his ceiling is very, very high.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a kid. Kids are traditionally inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah. So you think he's one we should be more keeping as such instead of loaning him out for a season?
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Alex. What do you think of Bergvall's game yesterday? Do you think he's another player that we should be hanging on to for the season, or should he have been another player that was
I can't judge
loan?
him too much. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Dan. I can't really judge him too much on yesterday's game because I only watched most of the first half because I was busy doing something else, luckily.
Fair enough.
Because I got a life rather than Tottenham. You know what I mean? Getting benching. But the point is, is that for me, and unfortunately, and listen, I bat for you because I don't like this whole gang up on one person because I like to take on two people rather than taking on one person. We got all five.
I don't like it.
Alex, no need to get kinky about it, mate. Just get
No,
to the point.
I'm not kicky about it. I'm just saying. I'm giving him credit, Dan. Give me a chance here, Bob. I'm actually giving credit. You know what I mean?
I don't care whether you like taking on 2 people instead of 1. That's your personal life. Anyway, get on with it.
No. But the point I'm making is, yeah, don't, Mr. Hey, Dan, behave yourself. Mr. Box Office is talking. The main event needs to cook. The point is, yeah. The point is, is that I just don't think he's ready at the moment. I think, unfortunately, it's again going back to the point again about him, the club saying what they said as well. And now we're saying that he's young and all that, and then everything else. I'll go back to what I said in the transfer window. I said maybe we need a young, older player, experienced player. And I just don't think those characters that we have got at the moment are the right sort of characters to have around him at the moment, right? I think you needed somebody who knows, who's got that mindset, you know what I mean, and winning, you know what I mean. Understand how to just guide him, you know what I mean. And I think that's where I think we're going missing a little bit with him. You see what I'm saying? Because yes, he's got a bit of arrogance about him. He's got something about him, but there's someone that can just pull him in on the pitch. Yeah, it's all right doing it with the sidelines. Ange Postecoglou just standing there, just saying absolute nothing. Yeah, but it's like, well, no. If you have an older statesman like a Gourdawan, yeah. I know he's at Man City, but someone like that. You know what I mean? That he could just look up to.
Like an Edgar Davids we got back in the day,
just to look up to, and then he can grow. Because I think that's what the difference between Foden, and Bergvall, because he's going into his club but won. You see what I'm saying? He had the Silva, he had loads of players. He had for Nino, I think it was as well.
Fernandinho, that's right.
Yeah. So he just had people there to just guide him at the moment, and I just think at the moment, and it's just clear to see. I think this is why I think you're making the stream. You're doing the stream, the show, Dan. Is that you can see that we just do not have a clue. We just do not have a clue because we've not won. You know what I mean? And I just think he either needs to go on loan, take him out the limelight. You see what I'm saying? Because unfortunately you're putting the limelight on him. You know what I mean? And unfortunately we put him as a backup as well. And it's like, oh, he's young and everything else. He needs to learn. Well, we knew this already. We knew this. You know what I mean? So he needs time to just grow and do those mistakes. Or you're doing a youth project and you just keep on playing these players and putting them in these positions, and that's it. And then you lower the expectations of the players, and that's it for me. So hopefully everybody understands what I'm trying to say here. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I get what you're actually saying.
2 points there. Number one, if Kulu and Maddison got injured, we've got rid of Donnelly, we've got rid of Devine, both out on loan. There's nobody to come in. We've got rid of Lo Celso.
That's the point I'm making.
There is nobody else to come in and rotate. And I fully agree with you, because I think the club should have actually come out and said, and I go back to what I said on Spaces at the beginning of the season. People said to me, what are your views regarding next season, this coming season? And I said, I think I'll be much more excited in 12 months' time when the kids are starting to come through, and we're going to be challenging. We're going to have a much better team August 2025, because I think this is going to be another year where they have, number one, to me, the transfer policy has been dictated because Levy wants investment, and he's brought the wage bill down. He's cut out a lot of deadwood. He's cut out, the wages. He's 38 million down, and he's brought 5 players in as well. But I think that we've got the kids. I think Europa League is a possibility. Domestically, I think we're miles off the top 3 or 4 teams, and the club should actually, the club aren't going to say, having charged fans the highest prices, God knows, worldwide, they're not going to say we're building for the future, because they can't say that, can they? But I think we're getting to the truth now, that this is a longer term project, and they want to bring the kids in. They don't want to get another centre back. They've got Vuskovic coming through, I think in January, is it? Or the end of the season. They've got Dorrington there as well. They've got Phillips to come back. If you start bringing in more centre backs, then you're going to block the pathway for the kids. And I think for the first time in 30 years, since the days of Barmbys and Caskies and all of those sort of players, I think we've actually got a really good set of youngsters that are ready to come through.
I will say this last point, Dan. Last point. I will say this. They are surprising me so far since that Arsenal game that we are doing okay, right? We are doing okay with the midfield we've got, and the fact that we've still got Archie Gray and Bergvall and they're playing, right? Yeah, look, we can have our opinions on them, but we're not getting overwhelmed as much as I thought we were going to do, especially in the last two games in Europe. I think, you know what I mean? You know, because we have, to their credit, and I'm only going to give them a little bit of credit because I'm sorry, I need a lot more. They have beaten Man United, right? And which is not an easy ground for us to do. And yesterday was not an easy game in hindsight. When you look at it from what you see there, all right. Don't get used to this. Don't get used to this because I'm not here to give people pats on the backs very easily. By the way, you know what I mean? You got to do a little bit more to get my pats on the back. But the point is that I think they did well, and yet there was things that we're not happy with. Personally, I'm not enjoying the football. I don't get it. Right.
Okay.
I think it's more wingers for me that I need to see to get me up my seat because it's not getting me off my seat. Yeah. But for me, I've got to give them credit with the players that they played yesterday. We still got through the game. That's all I will say.
Very muddy and scrappy game, but we still bloody done it at the end of the day. Like basically three of the last five we've had, sort of thing. So, Haz, on Bergvall, what do you think on his game? Or do you think he's another player we should be keeping and putting on loan?
Well, I thought he had quite a poor game yesterday. But overall, as a player, I would keep him because it's probably against the grain, but I think he has more chance than anyone else to get minutes. And the reason I say this is because Maddison had his fall off last season after like 10, 15 games. So I think he's probably earmarked as a number 10 in that position. So he's more likely to get minutes out of all of them. So I'd keep him. He's one of the youngsters who I've seen that has run like jack of all trades, master of none, like Gray comes across, in my opinion. He has like something special, like his passing is like very good in the final third from what I've seen in a few games. So he has got something. So I think we should keep him and not let him out. So
basically you're saying like Gray should be out on loan, but Bergvall is one we should definitely be keeping at the club. Okay, Mark, I come to you. What do you think on Bergvall's game last night? Or do you think he's another player that should be here or should be on loan?
He was poor last night, but from what I've seen of him, to me, I've been more impressed with him than I have Archie Gray. You know, from the minutes I've seen of him. But, you know, he's another one. See, I mean, we've just gone into this thing. See, I was on Adrian's channel. I was always moaning about bringing in all the youngsters. I said, look, we need ready players, you know? Like, you know, I mean, it's all right building for the future, but, you know, it only gets you so far. We're not going to win anything in the short term, are we? If we got to wait another 5 years before we might win that, you know. And as a Tottenham fan, I'm fed up with us not winning anything, and so I wanted us, instead of 40 million for Archie Gray, I wanted us to go and get a ready-made player. Would he have been as good? Maybe not, but he's ready. You know what I mean?
That's how I see it with the 40 million thing. I think that is why people do concentrate on Archie Gray so much, because of the price tag, which isn't fair on him.
Definitely.
But with Bergvall, I mean, he didn't have the best games. I totally agree with what everyone said. I do think he is actually trying almost too hard.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good thing at times. You want the player to try hard, but when you try too hard, that's when you actually start fucking up.
Yeah.
So do you think he should be here or do you think he should be on loan?
The thing is, though, like, I mean, he's got to stay here, really, hasn't he? Because the squad's not that deep whatsoever. You know, and we seem to have somehow messed it up for the European thing when we can only name a 23-man squad instead of the 25 that we're allowed because of the homegrown issues or the whatever it was. It was some reason. But like, you know, he's got to stay really, because is he ready? No. Another one that's not ready. Will he be ready? Let's hope so. You know, in 2 years, 3 years. You know, but I wanted players in the summer that improved us now, not in 2 or 3 years' time.
Yeah, that's where we should have done both, isn't it? Get the
Yeah,
youth.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
like
but
bringing
that's the
in.
point I'm going to come to.
Yeah.
That's the point
No,
I'm
all
going to
right.
come to. Because, like I said, I have actually got a reason for all of this. And focusing on the young ones, because they were the start of the game as such, what everyone looked at and really did pay attention to as such, because it was a bit of a gamble playing for young players, but it did actually work. So I've seen a Stella near Eugene. Lancashire. What sort of do you think he had a good game last night, or is he another player that maybe should be here or should be on loan?
Lancashire. I'm still 50-50 with that, because he did get a couple of good chances, which he, you know, one came off his shoulder and the other one he ballooned up into the sky. And I didn't see much involvement from him. So, I mean, he's supposed to be the backup number 9, right? Striker for us. We might have to keep him around because we got Solanke. That's the actual number 9 there, right? I don't even think Son is a number 9, right? But we might have to use him there. And Richarlison seems to be unable to get out of his whatever injury rut that he has, right? So I'll keep him then. For the time being, I'll keep him, right? Unless Richarlison comes back by January, then maybe I might change my mind. But at the moment in time, I'll keep him because, like, how I see it, most probably he'll be used in the cups, right, against weaker teams, and, you know, in the Europa League against weaker teams. I'll keep him.
Okay. Ian?
Definitely keep him. I think, again, let's judge him on yesterday. I think he did okay. I think he did fine. Wasn't fantastic, did okay. He was unlucky with a header. Was it a header? And he had a shot, didn't he? Was it his shot that bounced and went over the bar? Threw himself back. You know, another day that he comes away with 2 goals in his debut and everyone's raving about him. So, you know, the fine margins. And
it is a very fine line, isn't it? It is a very thin line.
It is, but are we judging him as an 19-year-old coming in? I mean, he scored 30 goals in 20 games last season, I think, for the under-21s. He actually bossed it. Was he player of the league? I think he won player of the year league, didn't he?
I don't know that much about the younger league, but I know he had a brilliant season.
Yeah, and do you compare him? Do you compare him to his performance to how you would expect a Solanke or Richarlison to play, or do you actually look at it realistically and say, Ange has thrown him in? He's 19 years old. It's his debut. It's, you know, he's playing in a virtual reserve team, because he made 7 changes, and you can't call Werner first team either, because Son is out. So for me, there were 8 players missing, and he's come in. He's done well. He's held the ball up. Difficult conditions. First game, for Christ's sake, away from home, not even in his own country, in Europe. He's in Hungary. I think he did really well. 100% keep him. And he will be the reason in time that Richarlison gets sold.
Let's hope so in that aspect. I mean, like I say, I just want to make it clear to a few people. The point I'm getting to out of all this is how are the young people done? And there is going to be a point at the end of it. So, Alex, what did you think of Lancashire?
I only like the first half.
Is he another one? Is he another one who should be on loan or should be here?
I only saw the first half, to be honest with you. I think he tried his best from what I saw in the first half. Didn't really notice him, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not. If I'm really honest, I don't think too much of him, to be honest with you. I think it's just, you know, it's one of those things where he didn't really stand out as much as, if I'm really honest, Mikey Moore did. That's how I find it. Yeah, no, I'm not. I know you're going to get to him later, but I'm just saying I don't think, from what I saw in the game, that he really stood out as much as what Mikey Moore did. You see what I'm saying? I saw a little bit more from him, you know, individually, and that's it for me.
I mean, I thought Lancashire had a respectable game. Could have had a couple of goals. I thought he had an all right game. I thought he was pretty much all right.
Yeah, but it's all right. It's all right, mate. It's like me saying that I'm all right at my game at trying to get a lady. You know what I mean? So it's not really good. It's not going to happen. Is it? You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, just don't try too hard.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And I think them one at a time.
Alex, one at a time, mate. One at a time, yeah? Dan, I've got to fly. Can I just say Mikey Moore is the one generational talent we have in the academy. With
I agree.
He's out the academy now, isn't he? He's with the first team. But he is the one generational player, and he's the best player we've had come through since Harry Kane by a mile.
He looks it anyway. At the moment, he looks it. So, Haz, what do you reckon on Lancashire's game yesterday?
Thanks.
See you later, mate. Take care.
Oh, you take it. All right, I think he did. I thought he did all right. But I also agree with Alex. Nothing really stood out for me. I didn't see any specific attribute that was special. Whether it was heading or his speed, or I thought he came across as quite slow actually, or just his technique with the ball when he say got it and did a little turn and did a shot. I didn't really see anything like that. Personal opinion, I would loan him out, and I think someone in the comments said something about strikers need to get the ball more. I think he would benefit from a loan in the Championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's just personal opinion.
Okay, Mark.
Yeah, I thought he did all right.
On Lancashire's game, and should he be on loan or should he be here?
Yeah, he did all right from what I saw. Well, but then again, as the game went on, I was getting more and more drunk. So I sort of.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
My memory went, especially in the second half, my memory sort of went a little bit. But from what I remember, he did all right. I mean, but he's what, 17, 18?
19.
Yeah. Oh, he's 19. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, just keep him around. Yeah, keep him around because let's face it, our squad is so thin. I'm not sure how many of these we can send out on loan.
Mm-hmm.
Or else we'll just end up with nobody.
Yeah,
I mean, Ange will have to come on.
Yeah, I mean,
and Ryan
Mason. Lack of depth. This is basically what I'm going to get at. So the last one I'll get to with this before I get to the long point I'm going to make. Eugene, any of yous, go for what you want on here. Mikey Moore last night. Now, for me, he stood out. He was the best player on the pitch, and I thought he looked good. Definitely more than potential there. He's already got some there. And, yeah, he's definitely one who I think is ready now. Obviously, I don't think we should just drop him right into it at 17, but I think give him a couple of games, give him a couple of the softer games as such, get him a bit more game time. I think he's one that could be playing by January on a regular basis. He looks like he's got that quality about him. But would that be too soon? Only time will tell. So Eugene, whoever, Alex, what do you think on Mikey Moore?
Mikey Moore impressed me yesterday, right? I'll keep him. Yeah, keep him. Yeah, give him time. Quick one.
Okay, fair enough.
For me, Mike Moore, what I saw from him, he has the strength, he has the speed, he has the agility and awareness. What I liked about him as well was he played both wings, and I didn't see a drop in quality on either side, which I kind of thought might happen. So he's shown that he's versatile and he's strong in 2 or 3 positions. And I just think he looks already you use this phrase about they're kids or boys, whatever, and now they're men. I think this guy's playing way above his age, already now. I think he's there. And I know it sounds odd, if he's out, right? If Werner's gonna have to play on Sunday, I'd rather see more. I know it's a bit early, but I kind of just fed off of seeing Werner play on the left.
Because even though it's early for him, he didn't look in any way last night like he was punching above his weight, did he?
No. Yeah.
And even when he came on against Man U, he did not look like he was punching above his weight. He looked like he was in the right place. Go on then. Well, still, since you just jumped on Mikey Moore last night, and then should he be on loan or should he be here? I mean, I don't even think we can loan him, can he? Can we?
No, he's too young, isn't he?
Yeah, we can't loan him. Yeah, he's not 18. So that answers your question.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's here. But okay, so what do you think on him last night?
Yeah, good, man. Good. That ball he played to Werner, who absolutely fucked it right up because he shouldn't be at the football club. He shouldn't be at any Premier League club. He's a disgrace of a player, mate. I can't stand him at the club. You know, I said it when we re-signed him. Anyway, it's about Mikey Moore. That ball he played, he's 17. He's looked up and he's seen it, and he's got the technical ability to put it to feet. That's what you want. He can beat a man. Against Man United, he was up against an experienced wing back. Took him on. Okay, got tackled, but won us the throw. Received the ball edge of the box, dropped his shoulder, beat a man, curled one. It was that close to going in. If that went in, I am telling you now, if that went in, the way it was in the terraces, there would have been a pitch invasion. We would have stormed the pitch if that went in. That's how it was. That's how we were going on. So look, he's showing what you want to see from a youngster: promise, enthusiasm, trying to grab hold of the opportunity. He's the kind of player, keep giving him minutes because he's in that little groove. Am I wowed by him? Do I think he's amazing? No. But I see a player. I see a footballer with a brain and technical ability. I see someone that could become our next Harry Kane, our next Gaza, our next Ledley King. Maybe. But you can see the boy. There's something, right? We can all see it. We can feel it. So I'd keep him. I don't feel like that.
Like I said to the others, when he has come on, and even when he came on against Man U, he does not look like he's punching above his weight. He does not look like he looks like he's in the right place.
Dan, he looks like there's a lot more to come as well.
Yeah,
he looks like he's just showing us a little bit. You know, he's like Bergvall, another one that impressed pre-season. Beat a man, scored goals, set up goals. But the difference is he's getting his chances and he's kind of showing us that pre-season wasn't just pre-season. It's actually Premier League. It's actually European football. So, yeah, I'd keep him because he's showing that little bit more than the rest. And like I said earlier on when we were talking about the kids, there's not one Spurs fan that's debating or discussing should we, shouldn't we with Mikey Moore. Nobody.
Nope.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
all
man,
of the
keep
others,
him,
it's been quite all of the others. It's been quite split down the middle, isn't it?
Exactly. Listen,
Basically.
start him ahead of Werner against Brighton. If Mikey Moore has a stinker, listen, if he has a stinker, right? If he has a stinker, he has a stinker. But his stinky game is still better than Werner's best game. So
1,000,000%.
I think anyone agree with that. So before I get to my point on the end of this, which did take longer because a few more people jumped on. Mark, what do you think on Mikey Moore last night?
He was man of the match.
Sorry, Alex. Sorry.
Sorry. Go on, Alex.
Just wait,
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Sorry, Mark.
No, that's all right, mate. You carry on.
Main event.
Yeah, no. I just think, he looks good. He does look good. He did impress me what he was doing yesterday. I did think he did a lot yesterday. The only thing I would say at the moment is, whether he can handle it, whether he can handle the expectation. You see what I'm saying? Because with that quality he's got, has he got the mentality to handle the pressure at 17 years old? He has got a lot of quality. I can see that. But we've already seen a lot of the fan base saying now that, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this. He's 17 years old, and it's like, I know people put up the argument that Werner and compare comparisons to when we had Adebayor and Soldado didn't really do well, and then Kane came up. I think we got very lucky with that, I have to be honest. So it's one of those things which I just got to wait and see it for myself, I think. Because he could be that guy. He could be the guy that makes this makes you get off your seat, which none of the players at the moment are doing that, other than Van der Ven, who's a defender. But at the moment, unfortunately, Dan, it goes back to what I say before. I need to see it first before I believe it.
Yeah, I can understand
that's it for
that.
me.
And Has?
Oh, didn't I already speak on more?
Oh, sorry. See what I mean? I've lost the.
Mark now.
Mark.
I jumped
Yeah,
in
Mark. Sorry. No.
Yeah,
no.
well,
Mark.
Well, in my opinion, he was man of the match. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he should be in. Surely he's got to be in instead of Werner. Anybody but him. You know what I mean? But now the only information I got on him is what I get from Adrian. Because obviously, you know, I'm on Adrian's channel.
Mm-hmm.
Mikey Moore has been upgraded every level. Say he's like 15, 16, he got put into the under 18s. I believe now he's in the under 21s. You know, and he's only what, 17? Is he 17 at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead of being in like the under 17s or under 18s, he's in the under 21s now. You know, so every stage of his development, he's been bumped up. You know, he's been bumped up the categories. You know, so is he ready? He damn well looks like it. Do any of us really know? No, we don't. But it's like I said, I'd sooner see him than Werner any day of the week. I mean, Werner's just a complete waste of time being here. 160, 170,000, whatever he earns a week. He's just stealing a living, if you want my opinion.
He's a waste of a player.
Oh, of course,
So the point I'm going to get to out of all of this, is we've just give our opinion. I think judge is a harsh word, but I think we've just give our opinion on how they've done last night and the minutes we've seen here and there. So these are the young players we've got, which are basically in our first squad as such. How are this lot going to evolve? And how much game time are they really going to get to evolve? This is why I keep bringing up the should they be on loan. Now, I get that we can't really put them on loan because we had such a shit transfer window, in my opinion. This is where Ian always puts it spot on, and others always say it, is we should have got both. But like I always say, I should be able to leave my car door open. I can't because some bastard will come and chore it. It's just the way the world works in that aspect. So if this lot are to get better and evolve, how are they going to do it? Being third or fourth choice in everything, which is why I believe that players like that you should be having on loan for a season at Dortmund or leave them at Leeds or at another place they're going to get regular place in that. How are any of this lot going to evolve with playing a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes there, and a little European game here and there, which we all know when it goes, if it goes further in the European League, they ain't even going to get a sniff. So how are any of this lot going to progress still? Any of you?
They're not.
How are they going to progress?
They're not going to progress. Look at any youngster. Look at any youngster that's done well. Pick a youngster from another club. Who pops to your mind first? Someone who's 20, 21 years old.
What's his name?
Palmer?
Man City.
What I was going to say is Rooney, but that was years ago.
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer. Yep.
Cole Palmer. Regular minutes, week in, week out. Just gets better and better and better. Foden. I'm pretty sure Man City sold a couple of first-team players that allows Foden to play.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you've got to make a choice. Is the youngster going to start or is an experienced player? Or are they going to rotate week in, week out? At the moment, our youngsters are getting very little time. If in 3-4 months' time, the youngsters are starting a lot more games, then you could say, hold on, that was an integration process. But if we are in an integration process, then my question, and I've said it from day dot, who is being dropped? Who is going to be dropped as part of the process to let Bergvall become the number one? Who is being dropped as part of the process so that Gray can be the number one, number six, the number one choice? Because at the end of the day, we got rid of Skip and Højbjerg. Why did we keep Basuma and Sarr? Clearly because the manager thinks they're good enough. Well, if they're good enough, then they're going to be ahead of Archie Gray. So I don't know who we're dropping for these players. And whilst we don't drop them, they're not getting the minutes. And I'm just repeating myself every time I speak now. I'm just saying the same thing and just repackaging it.
But it's true. That's the sort of point I'm actually getting to here. How are these players going to progress and how are they going to get the time they need just playing a few minutes here and now.
Yeah.
But
like I said,
Dan, one way they will get the minutes is if the existing players, a bit of fortune, for example, Odebert's injured, Werner is shit, right? Werner's shit. So Mikey Moore has got a chance here. A window is opening up.
Yeah.
Same thing happened to Kane. Adebayor was a mercenary holding the club to ransom, and Soldado just couldn't score. So a window opened for Kane. So this window is going to open for Moore. If he takes it, very quickly he'll be a regular starter. Gray and Bergvall need a window of opportunity to open up. If it doesn't,
that's why I mentioned, for example, like Maddison last season still, who started off really well and then he dropped off. Like maybe
he
that
got
might
injured.
be a window for Bergvall.
He got injured for 2.5 months, didn't he?
Yeah. And he came
this
back
is what
that good, remember? So maybe
but with
that's the
six
window.
midfielders now, midfielders now, that's a lot of injuries and suspensions that need to happen.
on the other side of that, you need, if the youngster gets the chance, they've got to come in and grab it, which puts a lot of pressure on them. You know, because if they can come in and grab their chance and then say, you know, well, I did the job better than you, then it puts a lot of pressure on them, you know. You know, but
like it almost looks like it's doing with Bergvall.
Yeah. No, but guys, I think with a lot of games that come in, right? I think
Mark, when you pay players big money, it comes because you're expected to play under pressure. So when they they're expected to show what they've got, which is why the clubs agree to pay them. Listen, if you're 17 and you're on 10 grand a week, we might not think that's big money for a footballer. That's a lot of money for a fucking 17-year-old, right? That's a big commitment from the club. To give a kid £1 million a year. So they're trained to deal with pressure. They're trained to play under pressure because they know that as soon as they give you a contract, we need you to play under pressure now, not just at Hotspur away or in a youth cup against Fulham in front of 1,000 fans. So you're right in what you're saying, but that's part of the pathway if you're going to make it. You've got to show.
But guys, what as I can see it, right? I think the window opportunity is now until the January transfer window. The European games that are coming up, the cup games that are coming up, right? Okay, apart from the MCT against one, the Carabao Cup, right? I think Ange will do a lot of rotations with and the youngsters will be thrown in. That is the only way that these guys are going to get their game time. Because once you pass the January transfer window, that's when we get into the teams which are in the higher level, like February comes along for the Europa Cup. If we are still, I mean, we're projected to be in the top 8 to go through in the next round, right? And then when the FA Cup starts and all that, right? And then let's see who we draw. So those will be the chances for these guys to show what they have. But in the Premier League, I doubt it. Like Stel, you're saying, right? We got 6-7 midfielders. How is Bergwall going to come in, right? And then in the defense, you already have your fixed 4 at the back, right? Archie Gray won't be playing. Mikey Moore, we all really want him to take over the Werner's position. But what if Son comes back? You get what I'm saying? Mikey Moore won't get his chance to play, right? So in the Premier League, I don't see them having much game time unless we are up like 3 or 4-0. Then you know what happened in Manchester United. Then he'll bring in the youth to have to just have a run out in the Premier League. But
Eugene, right? If Son comes, if Moore starts a couple of games and shines, right, and he really shines, when Son comes back, Son starts. But if the manager needs to make a sub across the front three now, instead of bringing on Werner or Odebert, the manager's thinking, that Mikey Moore shined. Mikey Moore, you're on.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm honest with you, if Moore comes in and does well, I'd rather see Moore get a run of games than see Son come back because I think Son on the left is kind of wasted.
Yeah, it is now. It is these days.
I don't want him playing up front. Like
it's a conversation, right? It's a conversation.
Right.
I mean, conversation. You can't drop Johnson right now because of his form. So yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
No,
so
I
this
agree
main
with you.
question that I've got out of all of this is, I can't really complain about any of them. I feel sorry for Gray being like pushed out of position again and again and getting a lot of the stick and that. But for me, players like this should be out on loan where we had more of a solid transfer window to cover the first team. It shouldn't be, I think Alex puts it good, that they've got a lot of responsibility on them for when they do come on as such. And are they going to be ready to deal with all of this? Or are they going to go too hard for it? Or are they just going to get the odd game here and there? And I just can't see them making much progression from just playing the odd game here and there, or 10 minutes here or 20 minutes there. So this youth project as such, unless a couple of them are starting regular, game in, game out, or at least every other game, where's it going to go? And I think anyone struggles to answer it. Because it just confuses me.
That's what it is. They're going to have to just like stealth some fortune or something, and they just have to take their chance, and that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. We just have to wait for this international break, right? You know, let's see how many players will come back. You know?
Is Son's injury serious? That's what I was reading.
No, he's only got a bit of a pull. I don't think it's serious. It's a game or two, basically.
Oh, okay.
No, but he's out of the South Korean national team too.
That's what I read. That's what I was asking. Because
yeah.
So
right, last one I go to then, because that was the point I wanted to make at the end of everything. I just can't see how this poor lot are going to progress basically as players, just getting a few minutes here and a few minutes there, a couple of European games, and then if we go further in Europe, they ain't going to see it. So I just don't see how they're going to progress that much unless they get significant minutes, because you need to play to get better. And then when some of them do come on the pitch, and I think Dragusin's an example here as a player, he looks rusty as when he comes on because he's getting lack of match time. So what's going to happen with this lot?
And the thing is, when they do come on, they feel the pressure because they think, right, if I don't perform, I might not get another game for 6 weeks.
Another shot, another shot.
You know what I mean? So it's almost like brown underpants time, isn't it, if they get put on the pitch?
Exactly. What is it Ferguson used to say? Squeaky bum time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
this
is where I'm struggling with the whole thing. Like I say, I repeat it again. I just don't see how any of them are going to progress. For me, they should all be on loan. Every single one of them. I know Mikey Moore can't, but a proper club would have bought players for the first team and also bought the youth players. Put the youth players out on loan for the season, see how they go, and then bring them in next season or even the season after when they're proper ready for it. But that's Spurs for you, isn't it? That's
the thing that annoyed me is that we didn't address the first team. We didn't buy the ready-made players. I was
probably in a minority. I wasn't completely happy with the lineup he put out yesterday. I'd rather he put in one or two more first-team players. Like, I was happy with Moore playing and Gray playing and maybe Bergvall, but I didn't want all four of them to play. I kind of wanted a bit of half and half there. That's just my opinion, I guess. Because I think we kind of got away with it in the end in the game, I think.
I've always looked at it in the way that if you're going to chuck some youngsters in, drip feed them in, ones and twos at a time.
Yeah, not like four.
And so they've still got like the more experienced players around them to sort of guide them through, show them the ropes. Not just chuck 4 or 5 of them in at once.
I know. The thing is that I rather prefer if you play the strong first team, right? Get 3 or 4 up, bring them back and just put in the youngsters, like what you said.
I was quite happy that he played the youngsters last night because we've all been saying like, well, if you're going to go on a youth academy, then if you're going to go with a youth team, then use the bloody youth players. He finally did. So in that aspect, I was happy with what I saw. And overall, I think the youth players, they played well. Bergvall was the only one who really had a rusty game. And like I said, Gray, I just feel sorry for him because he was blatantly played out of position.
But Dan, if I'm asking, or anyone else on here, what is Gray's position? Because every time I hear different positions.
It could be anything.
You tell me.
I said, right, we had to forget about Gray being a midfielder this season, right? Just think of him as a defender, that's all.
Right.
The problem with Eugene is that we signed him. Everyone said he's going to play number 6. Then he got picked. Then you picked the Europa League squad, and he wasn't in. And then was like,
everyone says.
Right
that's what everyone says. But Ange doesn't see that.
And in pre-season, he played at centre back, and then last night even played a bit at left back. So I'm just like, This is what worries me because we did it with Tanganga as well, where we just used them basically everywhere.
Oh, we've
I
done it
really
with
like
all our
Tanganga.
youth players, right? We've done it to Wings, we've done it to Skip, we've done it to Tanganga, right now. So
The next game is going in goal.
Yeah, or up front.
Yeah, he's in goal next game.
Who knows? I don't think anyone knows his actual position. That's why he's actually getting questioned so much as well. Like, what the fuck is he actually here to do? Is he a right back, a left back, a centre back? Is he a DM? Is he a centre mid? I just don't think anyone actually bloody knows. Right, so last thing I want to get to, I've got 15 minutes left. Brighton, next game.
Sorry, brother, I've gone. Go on. Right, go on.
Brighton, next game, 10 minutes, next game. How are we going to go? Where's this one going to go with Brighton, the next game?
I think we're going to win.
It's a harder game than Man U.
8-7 Spurs. Because both teams will be on the halfway line, and it will be whoever scores the most. It'll be like a game of basketball.
You think it's going to be that hectic?
Well, with the style of the two clubs at the moment, it's sort of looking that way. It's the high line versus the high line. That's why I went for 8-7.
It is going to be a crazy one, I think.
No one's
isn't it?
how is anyone going to score? That's the problem. They're not just passing it across the line. Anyway.
Yeah.
It is going to be... Go on, Stel.
Sorry, Dan. No, go on. Sorry, mate.
That's all right, mate. Go
on. Share the screen I just put. So this is how I think tactically both teams will look, right?
I've seen this, I think. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Everyone just on the halfway line. I think I'll remove this a minute. Hold on. I think if you watch Brighton v Chelsea, Chelsea caught Brighton a number of times where Brighton were trying to play out from the back and they got caught. And then Brighton caught Chelsea out once or twice when Chelsea were playing out from the back. Both teams refused to change playing out from the back, constantly out from the back, out from the back. It's exactly what Spurs do. But because our pressing game is better than Brighton's, and the stats say that, I think we win the game because we will catch them more playing out from the back than what they will catch us. And that's what Chelsea did. It wasn't a chance of who created the most chances. It was a case of whose press is better when they play out from the back. And Chelsea's turned out to be slightly better. So I think because we've got the second or third best pressing game in the league, I think we're just going to catch them out more than they're going to catch us. So based on that, and I've got this brilliant habit of getting all my predictions wrong. Based on that, I've literally always, I think we beat them 3-1. I think we will have the edge over them. So if we lose 3-0 to Brighton, you know why? It's because I predicted we're going to win 3-1. But I'm just trying to bring some kind of analytical thinking to it, where I'm coming from. Because Brighton,
I think the word you're looking for is some context to it, yeah? That magic word everyone keeps fucking using all the time.
Some fucking context to my thinking. I just saw that game, and I also saw when Brighton played Arsenal. Arsenal went down to 10 men, but even then, Arsenal had 3 chances when they got in behind, and Havertz fucked up 2 of them. So even when they're down to 10 men, Arsenal, they still found this big gap behind Brighton. Mate, if there's one team you don't want to give a big space in behind right now, it's Spurs. So I think Brighton playing out from the back and that high line, they so fall into our trap. And I just think we're going to be better at that than what Brighton will be at it right now. So I think 3-1 to Spurs.
Okay, Eugene?
I'll just say 4-2 to Spurs, right? So, yeah, it'll be the reverse of last season.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
And Mark, what do you think on it?
Yeah, I believe have they not got their main defender injured?
I think they've got a couple of players out, actually.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I hate predicting us to lose, to be honest. So, yeah, well, I know I said 8-7, but I didn't really mean that. I'll go.
I know that.
Yeah, I'll go 9-8. 9-8 Spurs.
Someone in the chat is saying João Pedro's out. He's their best player. He's their best attacking player.
Okay.
All right, 9-7 then.
So if he's out,
seeing as he's out,
and they've got no Matt O'Reilly, he's injured as well. I think even their attack is lacking.
Yeah, and I think their main defender's out as well.
It's all in our favour, right? It's all in our favour.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely looking that way on that one. And I'm going to go 2-1 for us, but keep thinking about that bloody highline thing. I could see it a 3-2 to us. Like, there's a couple of goals in it, definitely. I mean, and has last one your prediction on the game?
Yeah, I think
Brighton.
we're going to win 1-0.
1-0?
Clean sheet. Yeah, clean sheet. 1-0.
That'd be our 7th clean sheet in 35 games, 36, 37 games, something like that, wouldn't it? So it would be a nice one to have a clean sheet on that. But I do think we've got what it takes to beat Brighton. So thanks for everyone for coming on. I mean, the main point I wanted to get to out of everything is we've got all these youth players, and I just want to know how they're going to bloody evolve with the lack of game time that I think they're going to not get, sort of thing. And Stel, anything coming up soon?
I'm on No Filter FC tonight, Young Charlie's channel. So let's all go support Charlie, 10 p.m. tonight. I don't know who else is on there with him. And then Sunday night, Tottenham away, post-match show, 9:30 p.m. Brighton Spurs. You're all welcome to come on, as always. And we'll talk about the game, the highs, the lows, and I'm sure we'll find a talking point that's just going to tear everyone apart, as always.
As always. And Eugene?
I'm thinking of doing a watch along, right, for the Brighton game. If I'm at home, if I'm out, then I'll be watching it with some other Spurs fans. But it's a late game for us, right? It's about 11:30 p.m. here, so most probably I'll be doing a watch along on Spurs Vision TV, guys. All right. So, and of course on Wednesday, I'll usually have my midweek show, usual, right, and then we'll get some fans from other clubs around Asia and from Spurs just to talk about football. Right.
Okay, Has?
Yeah, well, I should be going live in like 10-15 minutes on my channel for a preview show every Friday. Yeah, so that's coming up. And I might be floating around other shows tonight later on, but I haven't decided yet. So.
I always send you the link. The link.
Yeah.
Okay, and Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on at 8 o'clock, I think, on Spurs Diehards.
It's usually the time.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, I think. Yeah, I'm sure it's 8 o'clock. That's what time we normally start. 8-ish. We go on for an hour and a half.
Okay. And with that, I'm going to bring it on to thanks for everyone for watching. Give us a quick like and subscribe. Be much appreciated. What I'm going to do, because I don't know how to cross over the bloody shows yet. There's the link to go over to to Brian's Way, Tottenham on Tour. Go over and say hello to him and give him a like and say we said hello as well. Right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming on, and we'll catch up with you all soon. See you later.